Today's topic is how the Black woman tries to destroy the Black man. And in some cases, it's subconscious. In other cases, it's absolutely conscious. What's really unfortunate is when we observe the Black woman give treatment to other varieties of man or their employer that she wouldn't give to a Black man who is laying in bed with her every night. There's a sickness, and in explaining the origin of it, we might understand it a little better, but mostly in describing the behavior, we hope that we can address those behaviors and modify them. But also, gentlemen, realize you're not a build a bear type of guy. Go get the woman who's already ready to go, whether she's black, white, yellow, or blue. If she's on program, that's all you need. Now let's go ahead and get to this work. A lot of what we're going to talk about today will directly relate to the Black female because there are some particular sicknesses that ail her more than other females. But of course, as we are all humankind, these things will be common to women you encounter of any shade. Now, I'd like to introduce the concept to you that there are three tiers of women. I probably should have dropped the link for the Big Game Conference. If you really want to go into game about women, that's where you want to start. This is obviously more summary. That's 2 full days of deep analysis and all the rest of it. But we'll give you a little something here. So pay attention. And for those of you who want to really figure out how to get your life straight with regards to women, you can tap in there. Now, there's 3 tiers of women. Tier number 1, and we'll say this one is at the top, you have the wife. This is a woman that is worthy of marriage, not legally, and also having children with. This is because she is obedient. And that is the correct term, obedient, meaning that you give the direction, you dictate, she complies. And there's not the exhausting experience of explaining yourself and justifying and trying to make her feel good about it and saying it in pretty words. Then there's a tier below that. That tier is called mistress. This is a woman who will yield to pressure. She's not obedient. You tell her, she's not like, sir, yes, sir. But when you apply pressure, she will eventually comply. And because you have to apply pressure, that's why she's unworthy of being wife mother. Then at the very bottom, these are concubines. These are the unruly females. They're unworthy of sharing your home. Truthfully, they're unworthy of sharing your bed, but it get like that. These women, their main value is their body. Beyond that, there's very little that they have to offer in terms of building a family. Their feminine toolkit is insufficient. If you're able to remember these 3 categorizations and try your best to abide by them, and also try not to get tricked by these women, because I can assure you that they'll pretend to be everything that you want, especially if you're a man in a strong position. So when I see guys who are rich, famous, celebrities, athletes, and they end up with a woman who's a dirtbag, and you see peons who have never accomplished anything in their life, they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so's an idiot. No, he's not. He was fooled. You see, every woman is an actress, and they really put on those acting skills strongly when they see the man that they want. And if you're a peon, you may have never experienced this kind of quality treatment. Just to think of it this way, for you passport bros, the way that women treat men who are wealthy, famous, celebrities, athletes, the way they treat those men is the way women in Colombia treat you when you pay for them, or the women in Brazil or Philippines or what have you. So they've been tricked. It's not like in all cases these guys are just goofballs. In many cases they are, but they get tricked. So you understand these are the 3 categories of women, and really they should die in these categories. There shall be no moving around in these categories unless it's movement downward, unless they're sinking, stumbling down. Now, what many of you are dealing with is a woman who is kind of on the 3rd generation of single mothers. And unfortunately, these Black women, because they hate male authority, so much, especially black male authority, because they hate themselves as a black human. So, of course, they could never respect you as a black human. They resent their fathers or the absence of their father. And so you're going to suffer. But they do some interesting things, and their pathology leads to behavioral patterns that I trust you all have seen before. So, number one, and shout out to Raven. It's a beautiful thing to see the sisters here who are open to learning. Such a heartwarming thing. And you can tell by the nature of anyone's comments and questions, the quality of their thinking. For example, I saw in the comments recently, a woman had said, well, why should a female submit if, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, just you asking that question. We're done here. We're done here. Just the fact that that's a question. We're done here. But anyways, you gentlemen are dealing with some black women who may be the third generation of single mother. And because they absolutely will not submit to a man, they'll find every way to avoid following your lead and being obedient, and they'll lie to you. So I want to familiarize you with some of their tactics. The number one tactic is they'll use the cloak of religion. So what they'll do is they'll say, what you told me to do, like that's against my religion, that's against God. And so they'll go ahead and pick up the good book, and they'll selectively explain to you, as though there's some kind of theologian, why they're not going to comply. You're like, well, you said you want to do fill in the blank with something you're interested in or something you told her to do. And she go ahead, pick up the good book and like, in Matthew chapter 2, and you're like, wait, hold on, shorty. Like, you follow pieces of the book? Like, didn't the book tell you to be a virgin? Huh? Didn't the book tell you not to get drunk and start kissing your girlfriends? Huh? Didn't the book tell you to not do all those things? So what they'll do is they'll say, I follow God first and foremost. So yeah, I'll follow my man here's the kicker. I'll follow my man as long as he's following God. But the problem, what they don't tell you is that they try to interpret the good book. And the good book itself actually tells you that it's not for women to interpret. It specifically says women should not be the preachers of the word. And in addition, they should learn in quiet subjection. And if they have a question, meaning a lack of understanding or a point of ignorance, they should ask their husbands, ask a man. So they try to use the cloak of religion to get away from following you. So they want to pretend to follow a heavenly father or follow a patriarch in the sky, an imaginary man, which is a creation in their mind, which is to say God and Jesus is who they say it is in their mind, so that they can escape following you. That's number one strategy for those women who claim to be religious. And I will remind you that pretty much no woman is religious. And if they are religious, you're the God. You need to be the God. Otherwise, it's utter nonsense, because they're not principled by nature. The truth is not in them. They're deceivers by nature. Makeup, high heels, everything false. So it's improbable that Patricia, feel free if you'd like to come on. I'd be happy to give you a word. Any woman who's on, I'd be happy to give you a word. But the truth is not in them. And with that being the case, they could never be the leader in the relationship who stands on principle and is able to be consistent in following principle in a disciplined manner. That's not their nature. So religion is number one way that they escape following you. Here's number two. What they'll do is instead of saying no directly, they'll use different tactics. One tactic is, oh, maybe, or they'll push it off till another time. They'll say, oh, I'll do it later, or I'll do it if this. They'll start creating conditionals. So instead of saying no, they drown you in the gray area. Here's another way that they'll do it. You tell them to do something, and then they'll start asking you a million questions, right? So you say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And they'll say, oh, are you sure that's a good idea? You'll be driving somewhere. You'll say, hey, I need you to keep straight. Just stay on this road. Then next thing you know, they make a left turn. You're like, why'd you do that? I said, keep straight. Oh, well, the GPS said, oh, is the GPS your man or am I your man? And they'll say, oh, well, don't you want to get there faster? They start asking you questions. So they're questioning you. They're questioning your authority. And they use this as a strategy as opposed to being directly defiant. And in their mind, as long as they're not directly defiant, if they're passive aggressive, if they're, fox-like in their defiance, then they think that they've gotten away with it successfully, which is why, unfortunately, you must identify it when it occurs, whether it's manipulation, clothed or unclothed, point it out and then not stand for it. Because here's another thing. When you point out the manipulation, the first thing they're going to do is deny, deny, deny. Come on now. Here's another tactic that they'll use to not listen to you, not follow you. So you'll say, hey, do this. And it doesn't matter what this is. If you said do it, she needs to do it. And if she's not going to do it, the cost of that disobedience is the relationship, depending on what the matter is, right? There's sometimes women are going to act like women, human beings are going to be human beings. But if you're in a situation and you say, hey, love, what I'm telling you to do right here, this is an existential threat to our relationship. If you do not comply, our relationship is going to die. So then they decide not to comply. And this is an important thing to teach the children coming up. That's why I'm creating the training and event center. But anyways, you tell them, hey, you got to do this. And then they say, oh, no, I can't do it. Or, oh, no, I'm not going to do it. Okay, cool. Relationship's over. Then they want to start copping pleas. And what they'll do is they'll bring in other individuals as though the opinion of the community is what matters, as though the perspective of their mother, their aunt, their grandma, their best friend. Oh, I asked my girlfriend so-and-so, and she said that, that wasn't a good idea. Or she said that didn't make sense. Or she said she wouldn't do that. And it's like, I wouldn't care if the whole planet Earth got together and created a goddamn petition to support what you're thinking is right. It doesn't matter. What I said is law. You live in the United States of Marquettica. You got to abide by the law there. I don't care what's going on in the society. So the woman has to understand that you're her God, you're her government, you're her everything. You're her police department, you're her 911. And when she rebels against that, you can be sure that if anything ever goes wrong, she's going to snitch on you. She's going to call the police on you. She's going to sue you. She's going to become vindictive because she doesn't identify as a part of you and your family under your family name, So that's always going to be problematic. And they'll find a million ways to clothe disobedience. And one of the worst things that they'll do is they'll ask their mother, who's also a single mother, or their grandmother, who's also a single mother. And what they're doing is they're getting an affirmation of their errant thinking, not realizing that their errant thinking is merely a duplication of the person who is a single mother that created them. So it's a single mother or a soon-to-be single mother asking another single mother what to do. She doesn't know what to do. That's why she's a single mother. You could ask your grandmother, well, she's wise. Yeah, but she's also a single mother, so she didn't know what to do. She created a single mother, so they don't have the answers. I'm sorry, gray hair does not mean wisdom. People who have a life outcome that is not what you want, you should not listen to them. I don't listen to people about money who have less money than me. I don't listen to people about fitness who are in inferior physical shape. So you want to listen to those who actually know. And here's the problem. We always want to think well of ourselves. I've noticed this very consistently, even with my mother, when she refers to her upbringing and her mother and her experience. Everything's so beautiful when it's remembered. I trust that when it was actually occurring, it wasn't so sweet. But she might observe something, whether it's on social media or in the society. My mother will say, oh, my mother would have never allowed that, or my mother would have whooped us for doing this, or my mother would have said that, and grandma was strict and this and that. And I'm like, your mom had like 4 baby daddies. She's a whore. She's an idiot. Like, what are you talking about? She's completely incompetent at being a wife mother. So what do you mean? Like, maybe she did whoop you, but it probably wasn't even in an intelligent way. She didn't apply corporal punishment appropriately. She probably just whooped you because she was angry and emotional. It was like an emotional release for her psychotic self. And this is something that you observe in Black females, like just the real viciousness when they discipline the child, when they engage in corporal punishment, when in fact, corporal punishment should be measured and dispassionate. But I say all that to say, life is better remembered, and people want to think well of themselves. So they want to speak well of their parents. They want to pretend as though their parents were right and wise and did the right thing. And they don't have the ability to objectively acknowledge, you know what? My parents were not good at this or that, or they screwed up, or they failed to teach me X, Y, and Z. And as a result, it has created deficiencies in me. I'll give you an example of something that I notice consistently in women is The inability, and this is based on parenting, wholly based on parenting. Like, for example, I was raised with very disciplined people guiding me. My uncle, my grandmother, very disciplined people. And my grandmother, at times, she was sober. She was very Christian. She was retired. She was older. So she had time to force me to comply. My uncle was a mean SOB, and he didn't take any stuff. So he had wrath and masculinity to make me comply. I was scared to death half the time. So I wasn't even, and also by nature, I follow my old heads, like we have different natures. But anyways, I say that to say this. When I observe women who who cannot refuse to obey, and also they can't accept the consequences of their failure to obey. It's the inability psychologically to accept that there are consequences, and consequences are going to be consistent, meaning every time you screw up, there will be a consequence. It will be consistent. It won't be like you're going to slide sometimes or you're going to get by sometimes. Every time there will be a consequence. And also, women, a man of his word. That's the phrase, not a woman of her word. So when you're raised by a woman, you're not in a situation where you're dealing with consistency and dispassionate discipline. You're dealing with emotionalism and inconsistency. So as a man, when I tell the woman, if you do X, you're going to get this outcome. Or if I tell a woman, hey, this is going to be the consequence, they'll do it. And then they get shocked when you give them the consequence, or they think that they can persuade you, maybe because they could persuade their mothers. But me, I cannot be persuaded. And they have trouble accepting that. And it's a direct expression of the father not being there to show them that masculinity is decisive and it's unshakable. When the man has made a ruling, that's it, folks. Billy, that's it, folks. There shall be no going back on the word. There's not going to be any change. And if there is, in the rare cases, because I decided, not because you persuaded. And so the most important thing is that you are dealing with a female who grew up with discipline, grew up with consequences. And that means that she's been corrected before. She's had her parents tell her, hey, that's wrong. That's right. You need to do this. You didn't do that well enough. That means she can take feedback from you. If she didn't have parents that did that, every time you tell her something, she's going to want to argue, or she's going to feel attacked, or she's going to feel like it's lowering her self-esteem. It's hugely important that the woman be able to take feedback, because that minimizes true conflict. Being able to take feedback is a component of conflict resolution. Let me take out a moment to acknowledge the folks supporting the work. I acknowledge Jonathan, who was the very first person to support, came in via PayPal. I appreciate you. And shout out to the ones who come on and support before the stream even starts, because I always deliver and I come well prepared. He writes, when we say Black, I assume we mean FBA. Yes, in this case, we do mean FBA, because the nature of the different ethnic groups of Black people, there's a remarkable difference in some cases. Like, for example, here in Rwanda, in Kigali in particular, when I talk to these women, one thing that really stimulates me is that they're so soft-spoken. They're extraordinarily soft-spoken. They don't speak loudly. They don't raise their voice. They don't draw attention to themselves with having excess volume. They're very soft-spoken. It's a thing of beauty, frankly. And also, though they may also be disobedient, because certainly there are many feminists here, their culture is not what I would like to see. So they are feminists, but they're soft-spoken. So there's a thin cultural layer that impacts the way they express their feminism and their disobedience. And another major difference, and shout out to Rwanda, there are many women here with natural hair. You'll see a lot of afros, and it's utterly gorgeous, especially because these women are shaped really well. You'll see a lot of slim ones that got a little something, you hear me, a little bit of jelly there. So that's important. So we cannot speak blanketly about Black women, because Black women are going to be different based on you finding them in the United States, Brazil, the Bahamas, Rwanda, or other places. So yes, we're talking about the most unruly of Black females, which is the Black female in the United States. That's who we are talking about. And mind you, if you have questions for me, you can use the information below, or you can use the super chat feature to ask your question. Anyways, the gentleman writes, side note, the story on your night out in Sweden was a fun live to listen to on the playback. Reminds me that everyone should become a member for member only lives. Oh, absolutely. We kick a lot of game. We take care of the members as well. Um, which reminds me, I actually need to share the new link for the Saints weekend for the members first. I don't think I've done that yet. Anyways, thank you for that support. I also acknowledge Saul writes, Peace of the Saints. Hey, Marquett, you touched on the idea that we should use the heart and the mind. Can you go a bit deeper into that? Can't find the timestamp from part one. I'd be happy to. I know what you're referencing. So a man should live in the mind, and truth be told, there is no such thing as the heart. When we refer to the heart metaphorically, we're talking about feelings. But the truth is, all of that actually occurs in the brain. This is just a metaphor. Your heart does not control emotions. Emotions are occurring in the brain. But when I say that a man lives in the brain, in the mind, you should be chiefly rational. That should be your number one way of, I'm sorry, I was boxing earlier today. My wrist hurts very much. But you should be chiefly rational and, again, dispassionate as appropriate. And you select your emotions the same way you would select an outfit in the morning. However, the heart is important in as much as it's the second part. You may have foolish people on the internet because they're brainless followers. They'll say things like, oh, yes, you need to be stoic. In a debate, you need to be stoic. No, not really. You need to be stoic at the appropriate times. At other times, you use the rationality to select your emotions or select your strategy. You use the heart to pour out, to draw in the impact into what you're saying. And the same thing is true when engaging with women. There are certain things that the heart is going to be a more effective tool in accomplishing. So you need to be able to operate between the two, but always leading with the mind. If there's any other concept about that or elaboration required, do ask. Thank you for that question. I also acknowledge Morris. He writes, Peace of the Saints. I'm currently reading The Black Box. Thanks for taking the time to document your life and put it into a concise story. The summaries at the end of the chapters are really appreciated. I appreciate you and thank you for the support. Shout out to the Saints in Japan. And yes, it's a phenomenal work. If you'd like a copy that you can hold in your hand, you can go to Amazon.com, type in The Black Box by Marquett Burton. They'll get it to you quickly on Amazon Prime. Or if you want a low-cost ebook or audiobook, you can get that at thesassin.com. That's THESASN.com. Click products and scroll down. Shout out to Frank. He writes, tuition, thank you for your teaching. Seriously. Oh, absolutely. You're very welcome. And if we can execute on them, then we'll all be in a much, much better position. May I also acknowledge Mohammed writes, Peace of the Saints, tuition for part 1 and 2. This is needed for our people, and who better than the big homie to teach? As always, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. And I really do want you guys to be able to, if you choose to be with a Black woman and they're gorgeous, I mean, that's their unique value add is the beauty. And in some cases, it's the culture. Like I really love a woman who has that flavor of the Black American woman, not the ghetto, tacky, long nails, big mouth, but just the sauce and the soul of a Black woman and an American Black woman. But anyways, that being said, when you observe her engaging certain behaviors, you can point them out because I've identified them, and you can say to her, hey, let me ask you a question. I just told you to drive straight down this road until you see a gas station or a freeway on-ramp, but instead you decide to turn left onto a dirt road. If your boss at work told you to drive straight down this street until you see a gas station or a freeway on-ramp, what would you do? She'll probably acknowledge, oh, I drive straight down. Well, why is that? She's like, because my boss said it. Well, hey, guess what? I'm your boss. Yeah, I'm your boss. So do what I told you to do. Well, you want a woman who doesn't think? No, I'd love for you to think, but your thinking should not ever go against my rulings or my directions. And if you are just convinced that there's something I missed, feel free to tell me, but don't go out here operating in direct contradiction to what I said. And so sometimes you just have to help them think through it. But I would encourage you to look at the appropriate demographic of women, because at a certain point, they can't be helped. And generally speaking, you want to find the ones that are already good to go, as opposed to trying to re raise a Black female. Because I can assure you that the truth matters not, unless they have their heart and mind in a way that makes them really want to make progress in life. And truth be told, another sad thing for the human female, particularly the Black female, is that they may feel content in their current situation, but they have trouble projecting out, well, what happens when I become a single mom without a father to my daughter? What happens when I become a single mom without a husband to protect me at night? Or what happens when I become a single mom and I'm lonely, like just lonely? Like you can only relate to your child at a level. You're just lonely, you know. And then they have trouble projecting out how this plays out over time. Or forget being a single mom, how about just being single, lonely? And they'll lie and say that they're lonely by choice, but we all know that that's not the case. And in fact, they're extraordinarily narcissistic, and that's why many of them are lonely. If you're a good looking woman and you're age 25 or older and you're not in a relationship, there's probably something wrong with you, and you should try to fix that. I saw that Maya, the R&B singer, recently married herself, and this is extraordinary because women will call men narcissistic, and then they'll marry themselves. I mean, marrying yourself. I mean, this is a level of self-absorption that you never find a parallel in the male. We just don't get to that level. You don't see him. You'll never go on a man's Instagram and see 30 photos that are all selfies with him like puckering up his lips and staring directly into the camera, as though the most beautiful thing that could be photographed is his face 30 different times from the exact same angle that he believes looks best. I'm sorry, my body's just in pain from fighting all day. Um, so, anyways, let's carry on. Shout out to Melvin supporting the work. I appreciate you. He writes tuition, standing up, making my name known, and we all should. We all should. Okay, am I seeing folks is trying to support today? What this ism? Something's going on. Either the ism is hitting. I don't know what's going on. People look like they supporting today. Let me acknowledge the folks supporting it. And I got some real good game for you guys. And you'll probably notice all the images are custom. I took out the time to put together the images and the infographics for you guys. May I acknowledge, shout out to Mr. Bennett, writes tuition for the gyms, giving last night and in advance for tonight. The truth will not be silenced. Oh, absolutely. Shout out to Jefferson writes support. And to the gentleman's point, I want you guys to consider this. It's not about the truth. It's not about what's right. If you've taken the Book of Dark Truths, you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? And if you don't have any clue what I'm talking about, you might need the Book of Dark Truths. But know this: with women, the truth is not, it's not relevant, and most of them don't want the truth. So, for example, Chung is too sharp. For example, if a woman puts on a dress and says, "Do I look fat in this?" What she's really asking you is not, "Do I look fat?" She's saying, "Hey, I know that I probably don't look as good as I could if I didn't eat so much. So make me feel better about my poor life decisions. Make me feel better about my poor diet. Make me feel beautiful." And because they're so materialistic, they're so externally focused, their self-esteem is so variable, they're using you not in a sincere, genuine way. It's not really a dialogue. It's really them trying to implant some words in your mouth so that you can tell them what they want to hear, so that they can feel beautiful and then carry on in their experience. Huh? Yes. Yeah, I know it sounds strange. I mean, I've never heard a man say, "Oh, I want to feel pretty or feel beautiful." You know, maybe we want to feel important or we want to feel respected, but their feelings are very vain and like surface level. And it's ironic too, because a lot of times their feelings will circle around them being sexually desired, yet they'll then say, "I don't want to be sexualized or a sexual object when in fact they do. They're just misstating things. Women, the truth is not in them. And so what'll happen is they'll say, I don't want to be objectified. Well, really you do. It's just that it matters to you who is objectifying you. If you think the guy's tall, good looking, wealthy, and influential, you'd love for him to objectify you. If you think that the guy is well built, productive, well respected, you'd love for him to sexualize you. So they're liars, in other words. So you have to be able to interpret not necessarily what they're saying, but rather what is next. Like, what do they need to feel next? Because where they're at, they're not happy with. Where do they need you to take them to? That's what you need to understand. It's the ability to anticipate. Understand communication at a level is a cry for help. For example, women will often say to me, like, hey, you're so quiet. Or like, why don't you say anything? I'm like, because I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm pleased. I'm content. Everything is right in the world. What is there to say? You hear me? Like, listen, man, when I get in the back of the antique Rolls Royce, I'll go park it at a nice park in Summerlin and just roll down the windows and just, man, kick back. If I got a little bit of food, I'll fold out the tray tables and eat something and then just watch the beautiful MILFs and what have you, watch the kids play soccer. I'm cooling, man. And chicks like, oh, why are you so quiet? Because there's nothing to say. Like, I'm happy. I'm in the exact situation that I want to be in. I'm wearing the clothes I want to wear. I'm in the car I want to be in. I'm in the neighborhood I want to be in. The weather's perfect. The women are beautiful. What is there to say? Like, I'm happy. I don't need anything. I don't need any stimulation. I'm good. So communication is at a level, a request. You need something. And sometimes you have those who communicate and you'd say, oh, this person's just talking. No, they need something. They need attention. They need acknowledgement. They need to feel heard. Come on now. It's the silent man who's the content one, who's the happy one. Yeah, let's get into it. Mr. Naeem, very consistent. He writes, back on the scene, crisp and clean. Glad to see you made it back. You may have guessed, but YouTube didn't give me a notification. But I tell you what I did do. Ladies and saints. I posted this on all of the member sites so that you guys could be here on time. It was requested some time ago, and I've been doing it. So this was posted on the member sites. So if you are a member at patreon.com/the Saint in the Center or any other member sites, you would have had a notification, courtesy of yours truly. But yes, YouTube is trying to censor me. In fact, there was a really unfortunate notification that I got earlier today, which I won't speak of, but we'll have to navigate. And that's, again, it underscores the importance of the Training and Event Center, because I can't be canceled if we can get people there in person. And also that forms the nucleus of the revolution. We have to recondition people. I cannot emphasize how important. The reason I'm spreading this Marquettism is because these are the ideas that are necessary to get humankind to the next level. For example, our current leadership class is idiotic. They're complaining about declining population, right? The answers are obvious. Destroy feminism, destroy alimony, destroy child support. Childbirth will rebound instantly. Remove women from the workplace. You do those 5 things, I guarantee you, within 1 generation, birth rates will skyrocket. Oh yeah, and also remove the welfare state, the EBT, the food stamps, all that. Marquette, why would you do that? Because when you remove those things, you remove child support, the evil that it is, women will be more obedient, more strategic, more thoughtful, less promiscuous, and that will lead to them making better selections of mates. Come on now. Come on. Yes, indeed. Oh, and we can also throw in remove birth control. Then we really cooking. Yeah, we really be cooking at that point. Anyways, I also acknowledge Mohammed writes, people think Somalis have big foreheads. Wait until you see a Rwanda chick. Both of you guys got big foreheads, but let's really talk about IQ though. The trippy thing is that I find a lot of Somali brothers very competent, great degrees. But the girls, though, I'm still waiting to meet one smart Somali girl. Ya Allah. I'm waiting to meet just one smart Somali female, just one that's sane and smart. Now, here's a crazy thing. If you want to talk about beauty, I've seen that. You want to talk about body, they body don't be like super fire, but I've seen some with some serious body. But The IQ, though, I'd be like, yo, what is going on? The Rwandan chicks ain't been the sharpest knives in the drawer either, just side note. And increasingly, I notice intelligence is pretty important. And for those gentlemen out there who are reasonably intelligent, I assure you that a woman who is brainless will be a great burden to you. She's on the concubine level, and that those three tiers of women, she's at the concubine level. Shout out to Enola writes, good evening, Mr. Burton. What are your thoughts on the idea that a man will attract quality women once he removes the outcome of intercourse from his mind and focuses on speaking to women as if they didn't have vaginas? I think that this is, and I'll tell you why. Number one, you should collect. Yeah. I mean, if you go to work, you need to get paid. You need to collect. You might not want to collect vagina, but whatever you want, you should collect. Often it is the vagina. So you need to collect. And that's because there's really two categories. And I want any woman that deals with me to know this. There's virgin and not virgin. So if you're not a virgin, don't act like one. I'm not going to play that game with you. It's either virgin or not virgin. So figure out which side you're on and play the game accordingly. That's number one. So don't deal with me if you're not ready to throw that at me when it's appropriate. Number two, the guys that are creating all these theories, okay, I'm gonna play the game like I don't want the vagina. What they're doing is they're setting themselves up to accept when the vagina gets denied, because a lot of these chicks are playing with the vagina as a tool to control you. And the reason they do that is because their only actual value is their vagina, because they're low IQ, they're incompetent, they can't cook, they don't want to clean, they don't have meaningful employment. So, and they're not even interesting to talk to. It's extraordinary. So all they really have is vagina. So for them to lock you in, they have to hold back the vagina. Or in other cases, they're actually using you. And so the promise of vagina, which never gets delivered, is how they get you to walk down the path of their design. Some of these chicks just want a free dinner. Some of them just want a drink on your tab. Some of them want, gifts that they can't afford to give themselves, and they'll use you. So that's precisely why the whole paradigm has to change. Shout out to the executive in Florida. Shout out to Dan Lee. He sent me a reel on Instagram. It was some goofy black guy was trying to talk to some red bone, and she says, you have to send me $20 to talk to me. So I got $20. And he's like, what's your Cash App? And I'm just like, I truly believe that as a people, we should grab him because he's an adult. And I'm sorry, once you're an adult male and you're doing this kind of behavior, you're too far gone. We should kidnap him and beat him and then enslave him, because he is a great destructive force in the society. When you're allowing a broad to monetize the idea of even talking to her, even though she's unimportant, she's a nobody, she's an imbecile, and he's doing this chasing the vagina. Now, here's the thing. He never had a chance at the vagina, and she knew he never had a chance at the vagina. He even knew it, but the promise of it kept him running down the path that she wants him to go down. So it's not about you playing the game as though you don't want the cat. It's about you knowing and being realistic about, like, is this something I can actually achieve with this woman? And if she's not promiscuous, she's not going to entertain you at any level if she does not intend to move things forward. So in that case, he was being tricked, and he was also tricking himself. You should be able to tell when you're out of your league. And let me promise you something. When you're dealing with a woman who really is into you, man, sky's the limit. Yeah, sky's the limit. You tell her, hey, jump up in the air. Now freeze, stay in the air. Okay, now come down. Like, it's your ball game. Because what happens with women is when they realize that they're dealing with a guy who's highly sought after, he's pursued seriously by many women, and they're not pursuing him to get the D. They might also want the D, but they're pursuing him to get him to take care of them, to spend his life with them. Whereas men, when we're pursuing women, we're pursuing the vagina. 9 out of 9 is the vagina. We're not trying to be with her. We're not trying to spend our life. We're not trying to fall in love. So they can tell that their inbound interest is fairly hollow and shallow. But when you're a man getting high levels of inbound interest, most of the women that are pursuing you, they actually want to be with you. So once you encounter that woman and she realizes, like, oh yeah, this is the big dog, bro, you have it your way like Burger King. But the problem is that people trying to box above their weight class, or they're dealing with a chick that's just not feeling them. It's okay. You heard me? Like, just move quick with it, man. Like, if a chick ain't feeling you, let's accelerate things so we can get her out of the way and we can get on to someone that is feeling you and someone who does want to be in the game. Because these broads be goofy, man, and they're gonna play with the vagina if you let them play with it. There was a chick recently. I was like, hey, what's up with it? And she started acting stupid. I was like, boom, get out of here. Then she texted me, oh, hey, I had a great time. Yeah, that's cool. And then she's like, well, what's going on? I was like, yeah, you're supposed to get smashed right now. She's like, oh, I'll come back if you. No, we're good. Now, my good fortune is, like, I don't even really be wanting to lay down with like low quality women. Like, I actually need to like actually like you. You're be like, I be wanting to actually like the person. So I was like, yo, get out of here. But the point is, when they favor you, I'm like, hey, come through and get smashed. They're like, okay. They might like do a little like blah, 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 blah. But once they finish the blah, 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 you're like, so what is it? They're like, okay. And why is that? Because there's virgin and there's non-virgin. Once you get into the category of non-virgin, bro, you don't know how many bodies she got. Boy, she got more bodies than a World War II cemetery. So what does it matter? Let me give you some game that a older white woman gave me when I was a young boy. I should have smashed her too. That didn't even cross my mind because she wasn't even like bad like that. But I should have just smashed her to do it because you knew. Anyways, I used to work at an after school program, right? And there's this middle. Like, she was probably in her early 30s, but when I'm 16, I just consider that old as hell because that's like twice my age. And what she would do is she'd come to pick up her like 4 or 5 little white kids. But instead of picking up the kids and leaving, she would come and hang out and just chop it up with me, right? And so, every now and she'd do it so often, we built like a reasonably deep relationship. And she was obviously a little bit different. White women be different, especially when they're well off. So one time she had came and she was, having a conversation with me, and she was like, oh yeah, like I heard about you because I went to the high school across the street from the middle school. She's like, yeah, I heard about you. You're a really popular guy. She's like, yeah, how are the girls treating you over there? I was like, oh, actually, like I got a girl, she don't go there. And she's like, oh, well, like tell me about her. What does she look like? You have a picture? And then I end up telling her, like, I really want the brain, but she's not trying to throw the brain. And she's like, oh, well, tell me a little bit more. So I run down the situation because I'm like perplexed, like, how am I not getting the brain? And so the woman tells me some of the most genius stuff, and it's held true my entire life. She told me how she met her husband, and she says, hey, look, like you, similar to my husband, you're a very charming personality, an infectious personality. People want to be around you. They admire you. She's like, you're very popular at the school. So I know that most of the girls at the school, if you'd have told them, hey, do this, they would have just did it. She was like, but this other girl that you're dealing with, she goes to a different school. So she really doesn't esteem you at the same level because she doesn't know how important you are in your small little environment of this school. She was like, so that's part of the reason she's playing you out. She's like, but here's the other part. She's like, I'll give you an example. She's like, when I met my husband, my husband plays guitar and he was at a party playing ukulele. And she was like, and so basically he's in the party, he's playing ukulele and everyone's gathered around and they're just watching him and he's singing and he has a beautiful voice and all of the girls are just melting. And then after he finishes playing, everyone gives him a round of applause. And then I walk in and then we lock eyes and then I go on and, go get me a drink and what have you. And then eventually he comes up to me and he's talking to me and I'm kind of like, and I walk away and he's confused as to why I wasn't going for him, and he kept harassing me. And eventually I went out on a date with him. And then, we would tell the story of how we met. And eventually he figured out, I didn't see you playing ukulele. I didn't see all the other girls like passing out and fainting, watching you sing and play guitar and all the guys admiring you. She was like, I came in the party late. So all of that stuff had no effect on me. Maybe if I was there earlier, I would have saw that and he'd have been super hot to me because girls will find you hot if other girls find you hot. She was like, so yeah, I'd have probably been much nicer when he first approached me. She was like, I say that to say this. That's my phrase, but she had some kind of segue. And she says, your girlfriend, She told, and I told her because the girl told me like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it now. Like, give me a week or let me prepare mentally, or I'll do it another time." And again, this goes back to black females. This was a black chick too. She's a mix like black and Salvadorian, turbo thick, ooh, gorgeous in the. I'm talking gorgeous in the face and turbo thick, bro. Like a different level of thick, track star thick. You heard me? Like, yeah, man, track star. I'm not getting into it, but dig this. So she says, "You know what, Marquette? She said that she's going to wait to give you the oral, but here's the thing. She could have gave you the oral the first day she met you. Why not? Why not?" And in my head, I'm kind of like, because I'm a young ball, I'm kind of like, wouldn't she be a slower if she did that? And the white woman's kind of like, well, I mean, if she likes you, why not? And that hit me so hard because that's the truth of the matter. The hey, I'll wait a week, or she white woman told me she don't like you like that. Because if you really wanted that from her and she likes you, she would have just gave it to you. If she felt like the likelihood of you not dealing with her would occur if she didn't do what you want, she would have done it. So she just don't like you like that. And that was a hard pill to swallow, especially because like most every girl I want to deal with me. And so I was like, deep, deep, which she put me in this mindset of I'm not tolerating nothing. There's virgin and not virgin. So if you've sucked one before, don't tell me you're gonna wait a week to suck mine. Oh hell nah. If you've taken pipe before, don't tell me you're about to take 3 dates to take mine. Hell nah. What's the difference in 3 weeks versus today? Like this candy muscle gonna be the same quality candy muscle. Are you gonna be tighter in 3 weeks? No. Well then let's not waste time. Because one of the worst things you suckers can do is you wait and wait and wait, and then you get the vagina and you're like, where's the walls? I waited for this. They say good things come to those who wait. This is not good. Who did this? This is true evil. How you got niggas waiting and this thing feel like a damn hallway? Like why would you make somebody wait for this garbage? You see what I'm saying? Like, think about how mad you would be. You didn't waited and shorty loose. Like, come on, stop it. You'd be mad as hell. Thank the Lord. I've never experienced that. Like, but boy, I tell you, I'd be super mad, turbo angry. Anyways, shout to Carter. He writes, "Peace of the Saints. I'm dumping a female who put on an act for the past 3 years, bruh." And listen, man. People don't believe that they can act for 3 years. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. He writes, "In my face, perfectly upholding my moral standard. Behind my back, a low-life scoundrel living in filthy ways." Bruh, it be like that. Listen to me, man. I had a little female. She knows I don't drink. So from the first time she ever met me, all the way through 6 years, she never drank, never once ordered alcohol, never one time. Her homegirl come into town. They go out. She hitting the drink. You heard me? Behind my back type ish. And it's not even like I ever told her not to drink. What a female will do if she likes you is whatever you believe in, whatever your values are, now those are her values. You see what I'm saying? Which is good. They follow in leadership. But she's really a dirtbag when in front of you she doesn't drink, but let her homegirl come in town. Now she hitting a bottle. You see what I'm saying? Because it lets you know who she really is and who she's living for. Is she living for you and your family, or is she living for her homegirl? Is she living for these brief moments? You see what I'm saying? You need a woman who really is a chick that gets satisfaction out of the simple things. Like and shout out to my white women real quick. Let me shout out my certain kind of white women, not the liberal ones. Those are animals. But shout out to my white women who play board games. The black women in the live chat right now, like, board games? What board games? Yeah, board games. Yeah, I'm talking about Candyland, Apples to Apples, Monopoly, you name it. Those ones. Do you know what level of peace a female in 2025 has to have to sit down, pull out a deck of cards and play a board game? She's over here. A black girl in 2025 would be like glitching. She feel like she got to pick that phone up and like see what's going on. Make sure she doesn't miss anything. But shout out to my white girls that could play a damn board game. You hear me? And they're just so simple and family oriented that they should be like hanging out with their family and stop like they'd be like having days like we're gonna do stocking stuffers for Christmas. Marquette, do you want to come over and we're gonna stuff stockings? I'm like, nah, I'm good, but enjoy that. That sounds really fun and wholesome. I like that. I'm not going, but please do that. Take some pictures. Um, and that's one of the things with when I tell you guys community is important. I can't wait till I got saints living around me and their old lady can come hang out with my old lady and they can like garden together or they can harvest the food together or go feed the chickens or take the kids out to harvest the eggs and the simple things, but enjoy it. You see what I'm saying? So when you have women who have a history of being out in the streets, they enjoy drinking, they enjoy the bars, they enjoy lounges. So if you're dealing with a chick who used to be a lounge goer, a bar hopper, a club rat, you just got to know that that's still in her and that's dangerous, my boy. And like, patterns will resurface. Like, there's just certain things that have meaning based on your upbringing and your experience, right? Like, there's certain signifiers that will bring you into a certain mindset. Like, for example, here's a test. Like, somebody tell me, like, what does this mean? Like, what is that? Only some people know. It's like, somebody explain that to me. Go ahead, explain that to me. There's certain signifiers that are meaningless to some people, very meaningful to other people. And what I'm saying, exactly, easy, shooting dice. Thank you. Craps, exactly, 7-Eleven. Now, just as easy as you guys knew that, bro said, it's been so long, I forgot. Exactly. But just as you guys knew that, there's other people in the chat that were like, what? What is he doing? Why is he snapping? It just doesn't register. There's no cultural connection. There's no experiential connection. So I say that to say this, that just this, like, little JoJo, like that. If you grew up on that and you're walking by, you might see people doing that, like you attract to it, you want to participate in it. Whereas if you didn't grow up around that, like that doesn't, like you might walk by, like, what are they doing? Oh, okay, that looks neat, and keep walking. So if a chick has been going to clubs, bars, etc. for the last 10 years, she has a chance to hit the hookah and you never do it with her because you're a saint, then she's gonna hit the hookah when you're not around. She's gonna hit the drink when you're not around. So it's never gonna leave her. You hear me? Like, listen, if I'm walking by and some is over here like, little JoJo, I'm damn near tempted to turn my hat backward. You hear me? Get on one knee. I'm like, bro, give me the dice, bro. Let me show you how to get something. You hear me? I'm about to break everybody in this motherfucker. I hope you paid your rent in this big. The big homies here. You dig? Let me show you something. Hey, bro, move around. Hey, and don't throw the dice in the crack, homie. Let me show you. Jordan, come through the hood. Like, I might revert. You hear me? Why? Because I grew up in the ghetto and I used to sell dope, and that's what we do. Like, we get a bunch of money, don't have nothing intelligent to do with it, and we basically spend our time trying to hustle the money out of each other for fun and entertainment. So it's like, like if you around and put me in the wrong environment, yeah, you already know what's gonna happen. You leave me in there, you come back, I got everybody money, and I'm talking reckless. You hear me? Like, that's just what it is. That never left. So what you have to do is don't deal with people who have certain things inside of them. You see what I'm saying? Like, if there's a slur inside of her, if there's an alcoholic inside of her, if there's an angry person inside of her, nah, like you just gotta know, like, there's those three levels. There's wife, mother, there's mistress, and then there's concubine. You gotta let her be where she at. You dig? Yeah. And that's why, the truth of it is that I never drank. That's why I don't ever, it's not a challenge to me not to drink. I don't even know what it tastes like. There's certain things that just are not going to be a challenge. I was recently, what was I eating? Oh yeah, a hamburger. I was eating a hamburger at an airport, and like all the other restaurants were closed. And these folios had put some freaking swine on my hamburger. And I was like, damn. And I'm famished. it's the only thing to eat. And I take the swine off. I pick up the hamburger and I'm putting it close to my face. Like I could smell the stench of the pork. I'm just like, am I tweaking? Like, am I smelling the pork on the, there ain't no way. I was like, I'm tweaking because I just don't want to eat it. Like, there's no way I'm smelling this pork. I'm over here wilding, like putting it down, trying to like pull the swine is right here. I just set the swine down. I'm holding the hamburger far away, like, am I like cross-contaminating the smell? Like, does this smell like swine? And it stinks, which is to say that there's certain things that are not in your soul. So for example, like I couldn't eat the burger because it stinks like pork, pig. Whereas there's somebody that'll smell that and they're like, they stomach start growling. You hear me? Like they want to eat now. Like, whereas me, it makes me not want to eat. So I say that to say we're different. We're made of different things, and it's okay to respect that. And, you know, it's not that the woman's not good enough for you. She just might not be a good fit for you. And for women in general, especially Black women, you have to understand that a man not wanting to be with you is not malice. It's not him hating you or disrespecting you. It's he's not interested. He's not a good fit for you. Women have so much trouble accepting, I don't want to say rejection, but accepting when, you know, a guy says, hey, no, thank you. Anyways, gentleman writes, stay sharp, fellas. The Dr. Phil method doesn't stop. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, it is the greatest. If you haven't seen the Dr. Phil method, become a member, patreon.com/the type in Dr. Phil, great content, get you up to speed. He writes, on to the next with a beautiful life lesson. Yeah, bro, it'd be like that. And that's what these lames don't understand, man, is they take things too heavy. You know, life has bumps. It has potholes in the road to success. It just is what it is. You got to keep it player and keep it moving. You dig? Yeah, if you can't do that, then you're going to catch an L out here. But I tell you one thing, man, I'm a winner. I win. So whatever the challenge is, like I already know I'm going to win because that's all I know is winning. That's all I know. If anybody's going up against me, I'm going to win. And one thing I always know I have an advantage is I know winning. That's what I know. Most of the people going up against me, I'd be wondering, like, why would you even think of doing that? Like, you're not a winner. That's not what you do. You can't compete on this level. Like, don't play with me. You hear me? Like, goddamn, I don't know why it be crossing their mind, but it's okay. Shout out to Ray. He writes, apologies for going off topic. Is a diet of only potatoes, eggs, and veggies good for weight loss? The number one thing that's good for weight loss is caloric deficit. So number one, eat less than you previously have been eating on a consistent basis and work out harder than you have previously been working out, and you will lose weight. It's very simple. Also, drink only water, and potatoes, eggs, and veggies sounds fine. And I say, carry on. You'll be all right. Reduce the size of your meals, increase the amount of workout. It's very simple. Shout out to Mr. Chapman. He writes, just ran a 5K while listening to this. You never tell a single lie, my friend. Peace to Saint. Shout out to Mr. Chapman. Oh, yeah. Actually, well, I'm glad you're here, Mr. Chapman. I did want to ask you this. You got your shorts, and if you guys haven't gotten the shorts, they're fine. I was just running in a pair earlier today. I don't know where you are with ordering your next batch. I'd be curious to know how many you have left, if you would permit me. And let me know where you are with the next batch, because I do want to order some. I want to pre-order 2 of them with you. So great product. I very much so support it. And again, I hope we have the Janus logo on the next one, you know, the Saint and Center logo on the next batch. And I want a pair, obviously a larger pair. So we can talk about that another time. Shout out to Xavier. He writes, old minds like parachute is about to get his money up soon. Expect baller alerts only in the near future. Okay, let's work. Here, I also sent you a link of a 2-minute video in your email showcasing why a lot of Black American women are undesirable. I don't even know if I need to click that video. I mean, I think we already know why they're undesirable. You know, I don't think we're about to teach anybody anything. That's one thing we don't need to learn about. But let's take a look anyways. Let me know if we have any issues with the audio, since I don't have any headphones in. And we got this gentleman here. Let's see, there we go. Where's the volume button? There it is.
Years married. How do you guys handle the bills in the household?
She handles it all. I let her do all that. She handles the money. I make the money. She handles the money. I trust her to do that.
One bank account or separate?
One bank account.
Many credit cards together. So,
now that's crazy. So One, now this is the kind of guy that, you know, when things go left, he's about to crash out. You hear me? He's about to crash out and he's relinquished control over critical things. It's just not smart. It's kind of like with China and the United States. Yeah, we can be nice to one another, but we also want to make sure that we're not importing weapons, right? We need to have our own weapons. We need to have our own critical resources, oil, rare earths. So, you know, if things go left, then we'll both be straight. But in his case, where he's relinquishing too many of the core activities, especially around economics and access to capital, when things go left, he's going to be the guy that's going to be on the internet crying because she's going to be able to fleece him without the government. You know what I mean? Most of them are going to use the government to steal from you. And mind you, I never let anybody steal anything from me. No dude. Nobody on the streets has ever stole a single thing from me in my entire life. I've traveled around the world, you know, wearing canary diamonds and beautiful watches. No one's ever stolen anything from me. And I hope every woman watching knows that you will never take anything from me. No one will. But anyways, I say that to say she doesn't even need the government to steal from this guy because he's putting too much in her hands. So I think he's going to go out real goofy.
Everything is together.
Yeah.
But
It's all about trust.
But did you guys have separate bank accounts prior?
First, we did.
Yes, we did.
So why not keep those and then have one joint?
I don't know. It keep.
Now, why did this nosy broad just walk up, this nosy black broad? And these are the worst. I mean, if you want to talk about clout chaser, I mean, I don't think that this, can you be more of a clout demon by walking into a live interview where you're not invited? That's extraordinary. Again, this should just be 3 random N-words come out of nowhere wearing ski masks, all black. Just grab her, toss her to a van. You heard me? Drive her to a plantation. Hey, slavery's back. Your name's Aunt Jemima. Get in there, make me some grits. Because she's useless otherwise. You hear me?
It's tighter together.
Yes. It was just a lot easier.
I don't even know.
That's crazy. Just show up covered in tattoos. You could barely even see her tattoos. It looks like dirt on her skin. You hear me? Show up big mouth, interrupting, rude. See, y'all, listen, some of them need their eyes black. Straight up.
Yeah.
Look at the little Asian thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if she was Vietnamese. I feel Vietnamese from her. But either way, she's kind of looking like, what are these N-words doing? Like, baby, go ahead. Use the hard R. It's called for. It's called for. Like, I really feel like that right now. Wow. And why? And let me just throw this out here too. In terms of promiscuity, Black females, and now I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about around the whole planet Earth. There's something wrong with them. Just sheer perversion. This is not just the Black American female. I'm talking about in Africa as well. And I've traveled the continent widely. Very promiscuous. Very, very promiscuous. It's unreal. It's unreal. Black females, extraordinarily promiscuous. This doesn't mean that the other ones aren't promiscuous as well, but it's just, God damn. Look at this behavior. And, you know, like, this is the kind of thing where, and I want you men to hear me loudly and clearly. And for the women online, I want you to also hear me loudly and clearly in what I'm about to say. And I mean every bit of it, which is that, number one, the man is the leader. We are the patriarchs. We are the keepers of society and the keepers of value and values. And in as much as that's the case, we are the ones who will check them. We are the ones who will put them in their place. And the only reason we have failed to do so is because we have been subjugated by the white supremacists. And it is not his job, his responsibility, or his privilege to deal with the natural counterpart to the Black male. So they do need to be put in their place, and whatever means are necessary shall be applied. I prefer the peace lap. But like this kind of behavior that they're engaging in right now, yeah, this revolution gonna pop off. And you know, we hands and feet, you dig? Hands and feet, because that kind of behavior is disgusting. It's truly disgusting. And these are concubines. They should be shamed in the public society. Like, and here's the kicker too. The one on the right side actually got a little bit of wiggle. You hear me? The one on the left side, it's like, you metal butt broad, you bony butt broad. You don't even have any. What are you shaking? This broad is shaking actual bone. This is ridiculous. Yet you have the nerve to put yourself on display. They need to be beaten.
Ladies. Honest question, okay?
Honest question.
Honest question. Okay.
Period.
What do you think the men watching are gonna think?
Bro that just took out his time to ask these scallywags a legitimate question. Good Lord.
When they see 3 black women come up and start shaking ass.
We are.
They start laughing. They're animals. And here's the thing, some of you dweebs might be looking at these 3 wildebeests and you're thinking, you know what, Marquett, it's just these wildebeests that do this stuff. It's just these wildebeests that are disgusting, ratchet pig animals. But in actual fact, what's inside of them is inside of most women. They're just not hiding it because they're shameless. I got a lot of women that, you ask them something like, hey, do you know how to twerk? They're like, twerk? I've never twerked. Of course. I mean, I'm not an American, or I'm not black. I'm not this. And they'll act like it's beneath them, but they got a train ran on them in college. You hear me? Like, quit playing with me, sis. I wasn't born yesterday. So they're all pretending. A lot of them have this inside of them. And that's why it is actually upon the man to keep them in line. When we don't keep them in line, shout out to the Taliban, by the way, you dig? When we don't go Taliban on these chicks, they behave like animals. They show their bodies. They're trying to create distraction in the society and sexualize the society. Come on now. And look at the stomachs on these broads. And this is why I got to talk to you dirty black males. Like, y'all ain't got no decency because y'all let these fat rascals live, man. Like, I'd be so disrespectful to these fat girls, man. Like, they'd be ashamed messing with me. I mess around and like she reach out, you go up to meet her like, hey, she reach out her hand to handshake. I just grab her little stomach and just shake her stomach. Nice to meet you. Like, man, they should be in utter goddamn embarrassment constantly. How her stomach got levels to it. Like, what in the hell? Got a 3-story stomach. That's it. What is wrong with this broad, man? Look at the one in the pink. How's her stomach stick out more profoundly than her behind? This is vile. And this is a direct result of weak black males. And I don't want to hear no like Caucasians in the chat talking about like, eating disorder. Like, yeah. I think I'd rather them have an eating disorder. Me personally, I think give me the eating disorder. Like, I'm not down for this. It's disgusting.
But that's not what we think. We just wanted to have fun for a little bit because we saw y'all.
We just wanted to have fun. So your fun is crashing something. Your fun is making other people uncomfortable. Your fun is being loud and unpleasant. Your fun is being a pestilence and obnoxious. And this is why when people think like that, these are not people you can explain things to. These are people that you got to put the hawk to their neck. You hear me? You got to put the hawk to her neck. He's like, hey, don't you ever. This is when you be talking close to her face. Don't you ever. You got to put the hawk to shorty neck because she don't understand nothing else. Why? Because these black females grew up with a single mom, and their single mom was a real vicious, diabolical, emotionally unstable animal. And the only time that these little females got attention from their single mom working 3 jobs was when they screwed up and they misbehaved. And that's why they have a pattern of misbehaving to get attention. That's just what they did right there. I know it's genius. Write that down. Carrying on.
Recording or whatnot.
Yes, we did.
And we already know what's going on, but I mean,
not saying that we're not smart.
Yes.
You're not smart. Please, come on. We all know that you're not smart.
Intellectually,
You're very intelligent,
smart.
and beautiful.
So
I don't know. I don't know if you just stand there talking about we're very intelligent and beautiful. I don't know.
would you say that act was just purely for fun and attention?
Yes, just
It
fun.
was.
Just fun.
It was.
That's it.
Because none of y'all even got my attention for real, so I'm not finna.
So you're
I
still
saw y'all recording. I saw this bright ass light, so I had.
And this is the disgusting thing about the black female. Truly disgusting. Black females attract to fame more than any other female. They attract to men who are unproductive but dangerous, which is to say criminality. Black females are the most miscalibrated females on earth. And I distinctly remember I went through a black female drought. Give you an example of what I mean. When I was a young boy, I had hella black chicks, hell of them. Why? Because I was a psychopath. That's why. And that's what they like. I was a psychopath. And all my friends were psychopaths, and that's what they like. Then I went to university, black female drought started. My white hoe portfolio skyrocketed, though. It was never on E. It was always there, but it skyrocketed. Get out of college, working jobs, then start a business. Business eventually becomes successful. My Asian girl portfolio was moving on up. My Arab girl portfolio was trying to juke a little bit. And what I would notice is like an Armenian woman would be like 40 years old and she would meet me. I'm 22 or she'd be 25. And she said, hey, I got a niece that's 22. Like, I'm gonna make the intro. You hear me? Like Latinas, they'd be like, hey, you should meet my niece, and they'll make the intro. But I noticed black women weren't trying to make the intro to their like daughters and nieces. And I was kind of like, how'd that work out? And that's how dingy they are. And part of it is because black women hate true masculinity. They like fake masculinity. The guy who's like, yeah, blood, Westside PDL, blood, like on me, blood. I'm knocking it out, blood. Like they like that performative masculinity. They don't like real, stern, serious men that'll keep everything in order. They like the cartoon character masculinity. And so they're actually scared of men who are masculine. And what they'll do is they'll start lying like, oh, you like white girls. What that really means is not you like white girls. What it really means is you like women who are not loud. You like women who will obey. You like women who will kick back and be subordinate as appropriate. You like women who are easygoing. You like women who are positive. Like, for example, there's a certain type of white female. I don't think they make them anymore. I think they stopped making these in probably like 2004. But they used to come out of kind of like Newport Beach, Orange County area. And, I noticed the way that they would talk and interact with you based on like, say, a typical black female. So like, say you're in a Newport Beach kind of situation and you say to a white girl, like, hey, you want to go get something to eat? I'd love to. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Absolutely. Awesome. It's up tempo. I'm happy. Hey, I'm here with you. I want to participate. Like, I'm just as excited as you are. Black girl. Hey, you want to go get something to eat? I guess. Or they'll hit you with like, we could. What? We could? Of course we could. Bitch, what do you mean? They'll say something stupid and dismissive. And the crazy thing is a black girl will really be feeling you and out of her mouth say the most inane, like idiotic thing that'll make you like not even want to mess with her. There's this one little red bone in high school. She was on me super tough. And then I was like, yo, let's go do X, Y, and Z. And then she started doing that black girl behavior. And I was like, all right, get out of here. Then she was on me so tough after that. She's like, no, I really like you. I didn't mean to. Like, she had to have her mom come talk to me. I'm like, see, like, that's the problem. Is like, why are you acting stupid? I was like, you finally got your chance and I invite you out. And then you over here like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm a C. And it's like, you talk to the white girl like, hey, you want to go out Friday at 8 o'clock? Absolutely. You want to go out Friday at 8 o'clock? I'd love to. You want to go out Friday at 8 o'clock? Yeah, for sure. Can I bring anything? Black girl, you want to go out Friday at 8 o'clock? I mean, we could. Or they hit you with this. Where are we going? Bitch, sit back and ride. What you mean? Where are we going? Like, what does it matter? White girl, you ain't told her where we going or none of that. She's just down for whatever you trying to do. These white girls don't exist. I don't think they do. I think they stopped making these in Newport Beach in Orange County like 2004. I think they like ran out of them or something. These new white hoes are terrible. You hear me? Liberal, feminist, weird color hair, tattoos everywhere, septum piercing. They're disgusting. Truly. And what I realized that is the black female and the white female always tell you that you can only give that which you are, right? So check this out. The white females grew up in a balanced household that was not a pressure keg, or excuse me, a powder keg of pressure. They didn't have to hear some like psychotic black single mom talking about like, close my door, you letting the flies in. Close the door, you letting the air out. Letting the air out? Man, what you talking about? I ain't paying for that. I work 3 jobs. You don't know how hard I work to take care of you kids. Like, we asked to be here, bitch. they don't have to deal with like being in a war zone that's been created by this single Black mother who chose to be a single Black mother and now constantly complains about being a single Black mother. Whereas in their household, it was pretty, pretty basic stuff going on. Pop do his 1-2 and moms do her 1-2. And, things are pretty straightforward. Not a lot of conflict in there. She's happy and balanced and not in struggle mode. So then what happens is, as those two figures mature, the Black woman might even realize why she behaves like an animal and then expects you to undo all of the things that happen to her. Like, you be like, yo, like, can you stop having a bad attitude? Well, you don't know what I've been through. I don't. And I don't want to know. I'm asking about today. I'm not asking about what happened in 1997. I'm not asking about what happened in 2001. I'm not asking what happened when Nelly was a popular rapper. I'm saying today, knock it off with the attitude. So they think that you owe them something. This is female narcissism. And both the white female and the Black female have it, but the Black female has the female narcissism mixed with the bad background. And this is just a disgusting cocktail that's going to make you suffer. Come on now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with it. Let's see what these scallywags have to say. Now they cleaning it up.
At the hop up in that.
So you're still capable of being wifey?
Yes.
Wow.
He's all day. Capable of being white. All day.
This is the most important lesson right here, ladies and saints. I want you to understand this part right here. He asked them, are they capable of being wives? And they say, yeah, of course. What you must understand is that everyone thinks that they are a good person. You could be locked up. You hear me? You could be in San Quentin. You could be on the island. You can be anywhere. The criminals think that they're good people. So of course, a broad thinks she's wifey material. She thinks well of herself. And what you're thinking is that you're going to encounter a broad who's going to tell you the truth and say, I'm a dirtbag. No, they're never going to say that. They're always going to pretend or suggest that they're a good person and they're an honorable woman and they're honest. How often do you meet women and you say, hey, have you ever cheated? And they're like, yeah, I'm a cheater. I'm a habitual cheater. I cheat on every guy I'm with. They never say that. I kid you not. Multiple times I've met women who will take a consultation with me. And in their consultation, they'll say, hey, Marquett, I wanted to talk to you because I'm having an issue. My man wants to be polygynous. He wants to have multiple wives. And I'm just having trouble accepting it, or, I don't think it's right, or I won't allow it. Now, here's the kicker. In 3 different instances, I had a lot of instances discussing this, but in 3 particular instances, would you know that she was cheating on him at the same time? At the time that he's being honest with her, asking to have other women, she's lying to him and cheating with another dude, but won't allow him to be honest and live according to a man's nature. That's the level of evil. I mean, that's a profound level of evil, is that you're trying to stop him from being honest with you, but you're all the while cheating on him with extra cocks. Like, that's word. Yeah, I mean, it's sick out here, man. It's truly sick. And that's why you guys who are out here thinking that like these broads are like good people, or there's like certain feminine like qualities of being caring and sweet, like, nah, Brody, that might not be there.
About being a husband. Yes. And why?
Well, it's not about me.
No, but that's the question.
It's about you.
You asked us a question, now I want to ask you a question.
Well, this is my show.
It's just your mind's now, so answer the question.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the show.
And you are too.
We know.
We all are.
Well, I'm the host.
And I'm about to ask you a question, so why you can't answer?
Well, my role is to ask questions and to share your story.
Okay, sir. Well,
Are you already married? Because it's getting me you already married.
yeah.
Like I said, it's not about me.
See what I'm saying?
Okay. So we already know I
That's how you know what's going on for it. But
we just want to
listen,
turn your
just because we shaking ass, that ain't got nothing to do with no.
And that's the quintessential female attitude, which is that you don't get to decide my consequences. As a man, you don't decide my consequences. I decide my consequences. So whether I'm right or wrong, I as a woman decide my consequences. So she's saying just because I'm displaying myself in a sexual way doesn't mean that you get to interpret that in a sexual way. it has to have the meaning that I say it has, because I'm a narcissist and the world is mine and I control the world. I control what everyone says and thinks. I control the format of your show. Even though I interrupted and crashed your show, I get to decide if you're being interviewed or if I'm being interviewed. This is the kind of sick thinking that they have. Now, here's the key. You really got to go Taliban on them. There's no level of persuasion. You got to Taliban a whole generation of Black women so that the next generation is somewhat sane. And that's why we got the training and event center, not to Taliban them, but for the young women coming up to teach them proper lenses through which they can see themselves and see the world beyond themselves, which is a great challenge. Shout out to Mr. Chapman. He writes, okay, actually I already read that one. May I acknowledge, Enola writes, thank you for that answer. To clarify, you're saying it isn't about pretending you don't want intercourse. It's moving quickly to see which women are actually down for you and discarding the ones that aren't. Also is pronounced Eniola. Oh, dang. Eniola. I got you. Eniola. Keep putting it in there. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's correct. Basically moving quickly. And in the big game conference, we talk a lot about this kind of thing. So I'd advise people who are interested in this, get the big game conference. Is going to talk about selection. Selection is step one. Selection is before approach. You might look and see 10 women. Selecting which one to talk to, that's an art. And before you could even do that, you have to know what you are seeking and why. And then you can go ahead and get to that work, and you can get the big game conference there. Selection is the most important thing by far, because I can assure you, if you're good at selection, it makes everything else that follows selection smooth sailing. If you make a mistake in selection, it makes everything that follows selection bad. And it's not fixable. Like, we tend to think that things can be fixed. Things can't be fixed. You feel me? Like, some things will never change, and we have to accept that, whether it's things about ourselves, things about our spouse or a woman we're interested in, or some things about the world that we're in. It won't change. And in as much as that's the case, you have to figure out how to navigate these things, or don't navigate them. Run away. Shout out to Charlie. He writes, I'm watching part 1 right now. I'll watch the replay for part 2. Peace and Saints. I appreciate you. Shout out to Charlie. I also acknowledge T. He writes, hey, Saint, what are some idiosyncrasies you see in chicks who are generally scummy, particularly the ones who pretend that they're your ideal woman? Great question. Number one is that they will, for me, I get approached in a particular way, and especially because a lot of my views are known, they'll basically be great students of what I believe in, and they'll come to me and they'll be speaking pure ism. They'll be speaking ism, and they'll also be trying their best to act out the ism. So, when they're given a lot of gifts, it's appreciated, but I'm like, what's going on here? And so I say that all of the women start off the same. They're all coming with gifts. They're all coming with ism. And then eventually you're going to see them diverge. They're going to diverge when you ask for service. And then you'll be able to see who's competent, who's intelligent, who's not intelligent. So they'll start to diverge when you ask for the service. But they all show up talking ism and giving gifts. So when you start asking for service, you're like, oh, this one's not that intelligent, or this one's not very hardworking, or this one doesn't know how to persist. And then here's another thing. When you tell them no, then you're going to see them diverge even farther. When you tell them no and they can't accept it, or they start, asking you for the same thing again as though you didn't say no, or they start trying to get you to change your mind, then you're getting a strong sense of them. Another piece is you'll notice that a good woman is going to basically be the same when she's around other females. A woman who is not a good woman for a man is going to be different in nature when she's around females. And what I mean is this. It's like she kind of locks into the females at a deeper level, but it's actually an inappropriate level. And what that teaches you is that when she's with you, her guard's up and she's kind of she's like two-faced. So if you see that she's very much so the same around males and female, or not males, you as a man, and then women, she's being authentic in both situations. She's a little bit more trustworthy. If you see that she's like a really relaxed and like louder when she's with females, you're like, oh, you're two different people. So I think that's the biggest one. You'll really learn her through other women. May I acknowledge? Oh, he writes, okay, very good. That was via Venmo. Appreciate you. Shout out to T. Had the pleasure of meeting T a while back. I think he came to the boot camp, either that or I think it was conference 3. Shout out to Malik. He writes, peace of the saints, showing love for the live. Hope you are doing well, Mr. Burton. I'm going to have to catch the replay. I'm doing fantastically well. I also acknowledge with a baller alert. Shout out to McMeal. Writes, support. Bro just came in like, look, I'm supporting it. I'm out here. What's up? Shout out to Dominic supporting the work. Writes, peace of the saints tuition. Dominic, you were on my mind earlier. I think you said you're sending me a black hat. I'm very interested to check it out. I think that was actually a really smart move on your part to do the black velvet. So I really want to check that out. I'm looking forward to it very much so. That might be something you need to pursue. See what you got. Shout out to Melvin. He writes, tuition and respect, blessings, more happiness to you. Thank you, sir. Ricardo writes, peace of the saints, tuition. I also acknowledge Mark supporting the work. Just wanted to support. Thank you, sir. Shout out to John. He writes, just caught the live, support straight away. That's a real one. That's a real one. I also acknowledge Mr. Naeem. He writes, peace of the saints. I'm glad we got more people supporting. Every day the freelancers dip out is a good day. Excuse me, freeloaders dip out is a good day. Let's keep this going for as long as we can. Only winners on, bro, I'm trying to tell you, man. That's all I'm trying to be around. I'm trying to be around real players, man, that's talking reckless and living good. Shout out to Omari. He writes, I remember the last live on this topic, you mentioned you could never forgive your mom for something. Yeah, I had my last football game, and then she made up a lie to justify not driving me to the game merely because she didn't want to drive, whether it was because of gas costs or time or what have you. He writes, that reminded me that I can never forgive my mom for breaking up with my dad on the expectation he would cheat on her during spring break. Worst decision she ever made. Bro, that is a word that starts with an R and ends with tarded. But listen to me, man. They are like that. Here's the funny thing. A woman will break up with a dude because he's cheating, and then she'll go become a side girl to another dude. A woman will break up with a guy because he's cheating, and then she'll go get with another guy who's cheating. It's like, shorty, like, stop being stupid, please. Those are the women that are going to end up lonely because they're just not realistic people. Extraordinary. Shout out to Andre. You know what? That particular piece, I don't think I'm going to put that on mdblabel.com. I think that it will, that piece is probably never going to come out, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I don't think I'm ever going to release that piece. May I acknowledge Mr. Barnes? Looks like he sent in an email with a question. Oh, that's a woman. My apologies. Writes, as a wife and mom of 4, Black, I struggle with deciding if I want more children. If I have more daughters, I'm worried about a world where she is not desired by the majority. And if I have boys, I'm worried about them not desiring Black women. I don't think you should worry about either of those things, because if you have a daughter, she only needs one man. So I'm pretty sure she'll be able to find one man. And with regards to your sons, it sounds like you would like them to deal with Black women. Well, if we don't get this training center popping off, you're right. It'll be, if they're great men, it'll be a lower likelihood that that'll be the case. Fair. But, carry on like a fearless lunatic. Don't live life based on fear. Shout out to the ballers. Joshua writes, shaming should make a comeback, bruh. I'm shaming, beatings, stonings, all kinds of things need to come back. He writes, my sister wanted to leave her 10-year marriage for a white doctor. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, we need to bring back these beatings and stonings ASAP. He writes, my mother told my sister she's a 304. I mean, that was her, that's what her mama said, and would get disowned if she left her husband and would be cut off from the family. Work like a charm. Peace of the saints, bruh. Listen, And that's a beautiful thing. Shout out to moms. The only challenge is for your sister's husband is that he still has to suffer under the fact that she might jump ship. And let me tell you guys, boy, there's some ship jumpers out there. That's why the Big Game Conference, we talk about how to deal with that, but more importantly, how to prepare from that off of the rip from the beginning. Because if you're not prepared for that, when she jumps ship, your ship is going to sink after that, man. And really, when Shorty jumped ship, I'm just trying to like, hey, I'm the captain on the boat, man. Bring a few more of them things on this boat, man. All she did was open up an opportunity for a younger, prettier version of, you dig what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. Ruffin Rice, Peace of the Saints, Assassin, Miami. Absolutely. Shout out to Assassin, Miami. They about to get obliterated in the next football game, though. You hear me? Yes, sir, Bobby. Carrying on. I acknowledge the folks who came in via Super Chat. Shout out to Reezy. Writes, we here. Shout out to King Florio. Writes, early tuition. Peace of Saints. Appreciate you. Shout out to Chung, moderator extraordinaire, man. So acknowledge Mr. Aminu. Writes, Peace of Saints. It's always a pleasure seeing you live. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And shout out to Mr. Parker. Writes, what do you think about having kids with women outside marriage, but having your wife or wives raise them? It seems women with the best genetics often do not fit traditional. I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. Shout out to Timothy. And mind you, I'm a wild boy. I would do a lot of things. I would not do that. Shout out to Timothy, just became a member. I also acknowledge Pro Touch, writes, tuition for this valuable game, Peace of the Saints. Thank you, sir. Danny writes, hey, Saint, which one of your courses goes in depth most about finances, financial literacy? Also, not much, but tuition for Lord knows I owe a lot. I appreciate you. You know what? I probably wouldn't recommend a course for that. So that's good news. You're going to save a lot of money. And again, this is what you guys have to appreciate is the honesty. I could say, get this course and try to make a bag, but it's really not the courses. There's some specific pieces of knowledge that are not courses that I talk about financial literacy, particularly budgeting, which is critical. And I describe two different types of budgets, which is to say two different stages in your life, kind of one on your come up. And then the second one, when you're more established, how you should allocate your money. So that's if you're looking to figure out how to create your financial base in terms of money management. If you're looking to make money, then you're going to want to study up the piece, and it's on school.com. It's called How to Create a Product-Based Business with $500 or less. And that's at skool.com/Marquett. Just click courses. Wishing you much success, and you're on the right track, because I can assure you the things that you're focused on are the things that you're going to win on. May I acknowledge Majesty. He writes, women out here going to prison for men. If she's into you, she down for whatever. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, believe that. And she'll still jump ship too. A chick could catch a charge for you, be super down for 10 years, and then jump ship in year 11. This is the nature of human life. Shout out to ABCD writes, what the hell is swine? It is the pig, sir. It is the pig. Shout out to Soul, the supporting the work. May I also acknowledge Mr. Brewer writes, how do you keep your daughter from being a slore in their brain if their brain isn't developed enough to understand reasoning? Their examples, their environment, their mother. And that's, again, you guys might hear me I repeat some things a lot because it is the simple answer. The simple truth is that parents have a certain amount of influence up until the kid's 15 years old. And then beyond that, their friend group has huge influence. The society, the media has a lot of influence. When you're a young girl, you're not going to dress like your mother. You might dress like your peers. You might dress like your teacher. But you might not necessarily look to dress like your mother. So the question for you is, how do I encapsulate my child, be them male or female, in an environment where there's a high level set? So for example, what I would like to see is, so we have a Assassin community. All of our homes are together. We have a school that our kids go to collectively. The teachers are upright. The parents around the community are upright. And any parent will correct you because we're all living based on ism. So we know when you're out of line. But if you're at home and your mother is dressed modestly, then you go to school and your teacher is dressed modestly, and you look at the other girls in the class and they're dressed modestly, no midriff, no tank, crop tops, none of the BS. all you know is modesty, and it's subconscious. We don't even have to discuss it. So you'll immediately be turned off by the things that you see in the world, unless your soul is wicked. And some people do have a wicked soul, but 99.9% of those girls are going to basically do what they see mom doing, my female teacher doing, my auntie doing, my peers doing. It basically removes the promiscuous outfit as an option. And that's what you need to do. And shout out to the Jews, because they're really good at creating an environment that reinforces what they're about. I mean, just imagine you got to wear the payas and the same outfit every day. You can only achieve that when everyone is on code in the neighborhood. May I acknowledge 6 writes, I have a rough idea, but your perspective is refreshing. What does it mean when your broad slams the door shut? That's crazy. Or walks out of the house, or overtalks and interrupts you while you're trying to correct her? Sir, it means that, number one, she probably was not raised right, because you're correcting her, right? She's slamming the door. It's like, oh, what? It's extraordinarily disrespectful. She's not the one. Full stop. And she won't become the one. Walks out of the house, these extreme behaviors. You might be like, Marquett, walking out of the house is extreme. Yes, when a man is talking to you, that is an extreme response. Over talking you, very disrespectful. And this is a direct result of the parenting. There are certain things I'm always very transparent about the strengths and weaknesses of my parents, my elders. One thing I never did, not ever, I never overtalked. I don't know if maybe I saw my girl cousins get slapped in the mouth once or twice. I don't know what it was, but I knew that the moment I start talking while an adult is talking to me, it was not going to go well. Upbringing. And so you have to know, like, if I was raised to believe that's a cardinal sin, of course, I expect no one to overtalk me. That's why it's so offensive to me. The upbringing of the female is hugely important. Her interrupting you, that may be more reasonable, but still is less than ideal. And these are the things that we teach. So this girl, concubine, for sure. Absolute concubine. Thank you for that question. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to the women who are really out here getting this ism. Reezy writes, bro, I'll never forget when you said if a chick fat and she about to put a fork to her mouth, just glare at her across the table like she's doing something wrong. Bruh, listen, I hate that I do stuff like that, but every now and then I just be like, man, it's going to be a better world. I hate to see fat people eating in public. It's like, one, you don't need to eat in general. And number two is like, have you no shame? Do people who watch adult content watch it in public? No, they do their vices in private. You pig, you need to be eating in private. When you're out in the world, you need to act like you're not hungry. Come on now. Shout out to Rakeley writes, quote, want to get together to eat? Her. I'd love that. Small detail that tells everything. Oh, absolutely. Women are supposed to be in touch, aligned with their feelings. Now they fake aloofness. Controlling your feelings is a male teaching, that part. Yes, and he's calling back to the point when I was talking about the black broads, when you say, hey, you want to go out this Friday night? And the chick's like, well, where are we going? And it's like, damn. Because there used to be a time before women were super slores, or maybe when they were younger and less scarred. To go out on a date was an exciting thing because they didn't go out on dates with everybody. So to have the opportunity was exciting. Now these chicks are swiping, and a date, they can go out on a date any moment. So there's not very much allure and excitement and mystery. It's kind of boring, and it's just an opportunity for them to extract from you. Shout out to Attila the Hun, writes, peace to the saints to wish him also acknowledge. Daryl, he writes, how are you generally received in Africa? How are you generally received in Africa as a Black American and as the big homie? You know what? It really does vary by country. I'll tell you, it varies by country. It varies by your appearance, your style of dress. One thing that's for sure is I don't show up to any African country and they're like, oh, you're one of us. Like, hell no. Like I show up there like, where are you from? And you can also tell the level of education and experience of a people when they cannot assess where you're from based on your accent or your style of dress or your appearance. I remember when I was first getting here and talking to some Rwandan chicks, and she was like, oh, where are you from? Are you from Kenya? And in my head, I'm like, word, extraordinary. But what it just really clarifies is like you're talking to a lower class person. People who are upper class and experienced, not provincial, in other words, they can tell where you're from your accent. They can tell your income level. They can get a sense of your education. But anyways, with regards to Africa, they always know that I'm not from Africa in general. And certainly they know I'm not from their country. They never confuse me for such. I stand out, and you guys probably would too, most of you. You're going to stand out at a very high level. You're not about to blend in. And generally, you're well received. And the Rwandans have been pretty friendly, but there's just no doubt that there's, in some of them, the males I've observed this in particular, a little bit of that colonial hangover is still there. I haven't uploaded the content from Rwanda, and I will be doing so. But in brief, I'll tell you that there's a kind of like a museum kind of situation I went into. There was 2 white guys there. And when we were going through security, they basically let the white guys walk through and like kind of like pretend wave the wand. And then when I come through, it's like these balls wanted to give me the most thorough search on earth. I was like, kind of like what is going? Did you just let them walk through like that? And you're acting like I'm like Bin Laden over here? Then I was kind of like, huh, that's weird. And then I carry on and go into the reception of the museum, and 2 white guys are there, and the little Black African fella is, we'll welcome you to Rwanda. Welcome you to Rwanda Genocide Museum, and I want to tell you that it is totally free, but you can take the earphone to speaker to hear different things about. And so he's giving this explanation, but he's only making eye contact with the 2 white guys. It's like I'm not even there. And I think this is 100% because I'm Black. And then just third thing. Now, this third thing might just be coincidental. I don't know. It might be coincidental. I get into a cafe later on at the same location, and I walk in and sit down. There's like 5 Black employees. Like they're talking to each other, and it takes like 6 minutes for someone to come over and offer me a menu. I order. And then woman takes the menu, goes away. I always set a timer in certain situations. I got plenty of things to do. I got my backpack briefcase, so I'm keeping busy. Maybe after 10 minutes, they bring back my water still and my smoothie, which I consume. Then about 30 minutes has gone by. So now we're like 40 minutes in. Then 2 white women come and sit like 2 tables away. As soon as the white women come and sit down, the employees come over. Here's a menu. Hey, welcome. Okay, go take the order. Now I'm 20 minutes in. I'm like an hour in. I have no food. All of a sudden, their food's coming out. I'm like, and then when the waitress is walking past me, I say, "Excuse me, do you not serve Black people here?" She says, "Of course we serve Black people. We are Black people." I say, maybe not. I was like, how did their food come out? Like, you see my table's empty. It's like an hour I've been waiting here. Oh, they ordered something different. They have just sandwich and French fries. I say, I ordered a hamburger. Is that not a sandwich? Do you not cook French fries? And what takes an hour about my hamburger? No, I will go to the kitchen. It's no problem. I'll go to the kitchen and find out. But it is not on purpose. It is not anything like you say. Yeah, okay. How about this? Don't go to the kitchen. Get me the bill. Let me just pay my bill for my water and my smoothie. I'm out of here. So she brings it back. I pay the bill and leave. Could all of that have been coincidental? The first two things, definitely not. The third thing, maybe it's possible. I'll never know. I'll never know. Now, here's the comedy. You got to juxtapose that to this hotel that I'm in, which is it's ranked a 5-star hotel here, which I think there's only 2 in Kigali that I've seen. And I've stayed in more hotels than any human being should. I don't think that there are more than 5 people on the planet Earth who have stayed in hotels more than I have. And the service here has been excellent. And I do mean excellent by world-class standards. It's been very, very good. I mean, great service. But a little bit of colonial mentality in some of them? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Macnosh King Florio writes, I had an issue with this woman constantly cutting me off while I was talking. She's dirt. She's just a low-class person. And when I called her out and shut it down, she ended up crying. Oh, my Lord. Well, that goes directly back to what I said, the parenting. If their parents never corrected them, gave them feedback, gave them consistent discipline when they violate, when you do it, it's new. And it's something that it makes their self-esteem feel like it's plummeting, because by correcting them, you're saying that there's something wrong with them. If you were raised being corrected, you know that that's not an insult on who I am. It's a correction. It's fixing a behavior. So yeah, something's wrong with her, and whatever it is not worth figuring out or fixing. Concubine. Shout to Daryl. He writes, I know the feeling. My wife is perceived as white, and they try to speak and make eye contact with her rather than me, the black man who's, bruh, and that's what sends me over the edge. It's like, yo, pay attention to the one cutting your check. You didn't just reduce your tip. You're wilding. It's insane. That's one of the things I appreciate, at least about many places in the Middle East, is that in my chicks, when I'm in the Middle East, they wearing niqab half the time anyways. But they don't even acknowledge her because it's not necessary. It's not even necessary. Now, one thing my ladies will do is they'll order for me, because like food affairs, like that's all y'all. Cook the food, serve the food, pick up the food, drop off the food, clear the table, and you can order the food, because 9 out of 9, Shorty knows what I eat better than I know. So she'll pick up the menu like, yeah, you'll like this, you'll like that. Cool, order it. But all that other extra stuff is just low class to me. Like, and it's very annoying. That's why some of the things I work on, you can understand why if you pay attention. Like, I'm planning to do a summit for Black people. And the reason that it's of interest is because if I don't lift up the masses of Black people, I'll be judged by the average Black person, which is not a very impressive character presently or in recent history. And so I know that largely the way I'm being seen is based on the average Black person in a given geography. And for example, in Rwanda, I've actually been shocked at the brainlessness of the females, like pretty Somali girl level. I've really been shocked. It's unfortunate. I've not met one smart Rwandan female. The guys seem to be pretty with it, though. I don't know what happened to the broads. Maybe it's something like an inverse correlation to your booty size and your brain capacity. I don't know. It's been unfortunate. Shout out to Mr. Mahad writes, yesterday's provision is forgotten if today's emotion is unsatisfied. That part. Never expect eternal gratitude from a female. Oh yeah, it's all about what did you do lately. It's all about who's the hottest lately. Shout out to Emmanuel writes, tuition, peace of sense. I appreciate you. Yes, indeed. Yes, it's all about what happened most recently. And that's kind of like kids. See, and this is the kind of stuff, like this is needlessly vulgar. Like, look at this person. So this person puts, like this is needlessly vulgar. It's just like you're an immature person. So number one, like you're a disgusting person. You're thinking of like disgusting things. Number two, you're an immature person because you're not smart enough or mature enough to say, like, even if I had this weird thought, like maybe I should just hold it in. So you're the product of the internet. It's a lack of manliness in you. And not someone I would want to be around, frankly. And also, you don't have class. Like me, I'm a person that I would never do something like that during a live stream. I would just end the live stream. I wouldn't even do that in a hotel room that I'm sharing with someone. I'm not sharing a hotel room, but just to let you know, like, there's just certain levels of decorum. So like, you're a disgusting person. I'm going to block you for that comment, because I don't like to be around people like that. Damn, this bro got lucky. I'm trying to like block him. The chat moving too fast. I think I got him out of there. There we go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And, you know, maybe he doesn't need to be blocked, but I'm going to just go ahead and block you just in case, because, you know, that's little kid thinking and talking. Like, that's not player, bro. Like real players, like, we don't talk about stuff like that. We don't even think about stuff like that. That's like weird, bro. Like, why would that, like, what's wrong with you? And you see, that's why I don't like the internet, because I'm exposed to people like you who are not player. You hear me? Like, I don't want to get outside of being me by having to listen to peons. I don't want to hear the thoughts of peons. You dig? It's disgusting. You guys think about stupid stuff. You heard me? Anyways, back to boss thoughts. The guy that I just recently banned for being an immature fool. That comment that he made, which was disgusting, you know, just talking about like human bodily functions. What I want you guys to understand is that the kind of male who talks like that, he's the kind of guy that he's lucky to get abroad. Then he gets abroad. And over time, her respect for him degrades rapidly. She starts treating him like dirt, because what she realizes is that he's just a regular person. You know, like he's like really nobody. He's nobody special. He doesn't have any dignity. Like, one thing I can tell you is that there is something to be said about the way a man upkeeps himself, the way he respects himself, and the way he carries himself. Like, one thing that I don't do, and I know everyone can't do this, but I don't share bathrooms with females. You heard me? Like, I don't want to go into the bathroom after she's been in there. I don't want her to go in the bathroom after I've been in there. I don't share bathrooms with females. If I'm in a hotel room and my assistant is going to be coming into my hotel room or something like that, and I need to use a restroom, I will go out of my hotel room, go downstairs, and use the bathroom in the lobby, because it's a consideration, you know, and you keep up that level of, like, you don't want to get too familiar, in other words. So yeah, you don't want to get too familiar. The problem is that a lot of you guys, because you're not players, because you're not used to being respected, esteemed, and looked up to, you get too comfortable with the broad. You start acting like a broad. You start, you know, basically being a sloppy, disgusting person, and then her respect for you is going to decline. So what I'm letting you guys know is that there's a certain level of comfort and closeness that I'll never have with anybody, really. Definitely not with my old lady. I'll never have that. You heard me? Like, there's certain things that are just never about to happen. Like, I can assure you, like, if a woman ever passed gas around me, that'd be the last time. You heard me? It's never happened in my whole life. It's never happened one time. But if that did happen, she's done. There's no like ha ha ha. There's no chuckle. She's done. It's a wrap. There was one young lady who in her sleep had passed gas, and I told her about it. And she seemed like almost like she was mortified, but she was also kind of like, wow, did you just like wake me up and have a conversation about it? And I did, because that's how much I don't accept it. I don't accept it enough that when you were sleeping and had no control over it, I still don't accept it. Like, yeah, like wake you up before you start lighting this motherfucker up. You hear me? I have to wake Shorty up before she blow the whole spot up. I woke Shorty up like, hey, yeah, you over here tooting in your sleep. Nah, you need to stay awake until I go to sleep. Yeah, you stay awake. Let me go to sleep so that you could do what you need to do while you're sleeping, because apparently you have no control over your body. I don't know if you got a lot of fiber in your diet or what's going on, but you need to fix that up, sis. The point is, like, there's just a level of closeness that only low-class people get. You know, you're a dirty broad. If, you know, I've seen this before, like a broad will leave the door open while she's using the bathroom. Like, that's out. Even my mother, I swear, I think like 2 or 3 times she's done this. And I like walk by like, yo, what is wrong with you? Like, she's in her bedroom with her own bathroom, but still like have some decency, like close the door. I don't know why you feel like you need to monitor things while you're on the toilet. But the reason my mother did that, because she's a lower class person. You know, respectfully, that's not an insult, it's a description. Only low-class people do certain stuff, like leave the door open when you're in the bathroom. Like, knock it off. I'll be at home by myself. Yeah, I'm gonna close the door. It's out of respect. And because even though no one else is home, it's the protocol. You know, I respect myself. I respect the right way of doing things. There is a right way. That's manhood. That's leadership. And when you can do the right thing when it's just you around, you're a better person for it. We all kind of get a little bit too loose when we're by ourselves. Like, for example, the woman who delivered my food last time, thicker than a Snicker. You hear me? And I was just kind of, anyway, she was thicker than a Snicker. And when she came in to deliver my room service, I was kind of like, yo, this room is out of control. Not by your standards, but by my standards. It was out of control. And the reason for that is I actually had to change rooms because it's very popular time in Rwanda right now. A lot of celebrities came in for a particular event. So I had to change rooms. And so I just got behind and things were a tad bit messy. Probably she didn't think anything of it, but it was messy to me. But I didn't even think anything of it until she came in to deliver my room service. And it's not because she's a particularly attractive woman. She was, but it's because other people in your life, just their existence, it reminds you of things that you value and reminds you of things in general. So understand this. I even told my mom this. I said, Mom, you're a little weird because you live alone. And this happens to a lot of women. The longer that woman is living alone, she becomes weirder and more despicable because she doesn't have anyone to question her behaviors, or, you know, she gets a little too loose and too sloppy. So it's important for us not to live alone and be isolated, especially females, because they're not the morality. The man is the morality. So when the women are living alone, they start getting super like grimy and disgusting. So ladies, you need to either live under your father's home or live under your husband's home. And if you're alone and you're 25 or older, something's wrong with you. You need to tap in with the big homie. I get you tuned up for real. And don't delude yourself, because women will lie to themselves on, I haven't found a good man. Nah, sis, you're the problem. It's not the guy. Definitely not the guy. I'm not saying there are a lot of good men. There's not. But if you're a female and you have a vagina on you, you got that vagina on you, good. You could get a man. So if you don't have one, there's something wrong with you. That's it. Something wrong. Straight up. Anyways. Shout out to Rakeley, who writes, keep going, peace and saints. Thank you, sir. I shall. May I acknowledge Mr. Twain? He writes, greetings. Listening to your older content about business is sharpening my mind. Thanks for the schooling. Stay in good health and be well. Thank you, sir. Also, I enjoyed the recent one. I did a live session recently on business. I think it was before I left the country? I forget. But it was a fun one. I enjoyed it. I think it was before. Shout out to Gene. He writes, what are your thoughts on Rwanda having so many women in government? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Women should not be in government. He writes, despite being a developing country, as well as the general westernization of the women and their feminist ideology, it's all disgusting. It's all disgusting, and it's going to be a detriment. They're going to suffer for it. And it's only a reflection of weak males. Shout out to Rakeley. He writes, bathroom game. They don't burp, fart, or poo in my world. Oh, absolutely not. It's disgusting. Ladies don't do that and don't want to go in the bathroom after her. And I don't want to go in the bathroom after her. Oh, absolutely not. And find out otherwise. He writes, I've never had to ask. A lady who likes you won't let you find out either. Exactly. And, you know, classy, thoughtful women, they'll always, when you get home after a trip or what have you, you know, say you're living modestly, you got one bathroom or two bathrooms, and you just got home from a long trip. She'll say, oh, do you need to use the restroom? And you'll be like, yeah, but you can go first. And she'll be like, no, you go first. That's her maintaining her position as a female. You heard me? It's not about who goes first. It's about she don't want to blow that bathroom up and then you walk in there and get a nosebleed and pass out. You know what I'm saying? So it's her being thoughtful. And if you're dealing with a broad that's like belching in front of you and doing all this extra stuff, like she's a dirtbag and you're probably a dirtbag too. And I encourage you to get your life together because you're a disgusting animal. Okay? Thank you. Shout out to Jose, supporting the work rights. Tuition, appreciate you. Shout out to Darren. He writes, tuition, peace of saints. Thank you, sir. May I also acknowledge, okay, my sculptor just messaged me. Shout out to Mr. Buckley, writes, I've heard multiple people in the RP space mention that most women are bad at holding conversations That's just because they're not very bright. The women, that is. He writes, in that you will have to lead most conversations on dates. Yeah, perhaps at a level, but that also probably means you didn't design the correct date, because these chicks are not scholars. You don't want to design something that's conversation heavy. Conversation is not their strong suit. He writes, always thought women excelled socially. They should. He writes, is this good game? What is your opinion on this? Well, my perspective is that generally I don't go on dates. I avoid dates. Whatever you do choose to do with the female, it should be active. When you can get the chick in motion, that's when you learn more about her, observing her, not talking directly to her. Because when you're talking, you're in the process that feels like the interview. It feels like the interrogation. When you're in motion, you have great times where you can smile and laugh and you don't need to say a word. Or she can say things and express things thoughtlessly because she's occupied with some tactile experience. So I don't think it's actually very important to engage in that kind of conversation. Frankly, when I'm having dinner, for example, I hate talking, because you or the woman might tend to talk with your mouth full or something like that that's impolite. I think this is a great time to turn on the TV. And historically in America, people think it's like low class to watch TV. Like, no, we need to talk during dinner. No, you need to meet as a family to talk, or go to the sitting room or living room and talk. But dinner is when you have food in your mouth and between your teeth. That's actually the least ideal time to talk. That's why Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives, because we have some thoughtless things in our culture that are just woefully unproductive. Anyways, thank you for that question. Shout out to King Florio. He writes, gross 100K, net 75K. Isn't that crazy? How to reduce taxes? Well, sounds like you're getting paid as an employee as opposed to getting paid as a business owner. You can get paid through an LLC or an S corporation. Tax strategists can help you also, depending on which state you live in. You do better if you live in, say, the state of Florida, Texas, Nevada, Delaware. I think Montana and Wyoming might be in there as well. You do much better financially. And then also wage the revolution, But it's really an unfortunate thing that the government steals that much money from everyone and gives so little back. Shout out to Omari, comes in by the who writes, my mom's decision was especially puzzling because she had firsthand experience with living in a home without a father. So for the life, well, here's the thing though, they're selfish and their happiness is more important than anything. And that's why if you don't condition them, they will do the devil's work. If you don't raise them up correctly, they will do the devil's work using their instincts. Their instinct is for wickedness. That's why people look at the story of Adam and Eve as like, it's not literal. It's an expression. It's a commentary on the nature of the human female and the human male. It's a commentary on the failings of man to lead. And when you leave her to her own devices, how she can easily be influenced and become a tool of evil. He writes, so for the life of me, I cannot understand why she took my father away from me. You'll never understand. And that's one of the most challenging things about females, is that you're thinking that there's going to be an answer, like a logical, sensible answer. And there's not. There's not. That's the worst thing. That's like the hardest thing for like a very masculine man. That's the hardest aspect of dealing with women, is that you sometimes ask them a question and you're hoping for a reasonable answer, a logical answer, something sensible. And sometimes there just isn't. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for why they're doing what they do. They're ditzy, they're thoughtless. And other times the actual answer to why they did what they do, and sometimes they'll tell you. Sometimes they'll say, I'm a girl. And that's the actual answer. It's the truth. They did fill in the blank, or they did it in the manner they did it because I'm a girl. And that's a legitimate answer from a woman. But here's the funny thing. When it's time for you to be a man and say, hey, you can do this, you cannot do this, or I will not permit this, I will not accept that, they don't want to allow for that. That's when they want to have all these objections and questions and contradictions. But unfortunately, I'm a girl is a legitimate explanation for 15% of their behavior and their thinking. Shorty's over here here's another idiosyncrasy I want to read. These are two things I forgot. Someone asked earlier, Girls who are not the one, what are some idiosyncrasies or what are some odd behaviors that will allow you to recognize the girl's not the one? Here's obviously drinking alcohol is a major red flag, but here's a great one. If the girl does not walk at your pace, she's a dud. She's a dud. Smash and dash, she's a concubine. Marquette, what if she's short? My assistant is short, 5'2", never had an issue. A lot of girls are short, never had an issue. Only the duds. So if she doesn't walk at your pace, what she's trying to do is lead. She's trying to make you walk at her pace. Lead. She's trying to set the pace. She's trying to decide how we move. She's a dud. Here's another one. If the broad is trying to manipulate your thermostat a little too much, she's a dud. A woman who's a good woman mostly is just going to like, hey, whatever temperature you want, that's what it is. Every now and then, and me in particular, I might have some extremes because like before I work out, I like to be hot, like literally physically hot, get my muscles loose, do my stretching. So I might turn on the heat, I might turn off the AC just to increase the temperature. And so, one young lady I know, she might say, hey, how do you feel? She never is saying, I want to change the temperature. She's never saying, hey, we need to adjust the thermostat. First and foremost, how do you feel? If I say I'm good, then that's the end of the conversation. She's not about to petition, lobby, appeal. No, she's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just have to either take off some clothes or go get an ice water. She's about to roll with it. If she says, how do you feel? How's your temperature? Then I'll think like, oh, I do have it really hot in here. I'll go adjust it. Or I have it really cold in here. I'll go adjust it. But if I don't say that, then she's just going to rock with whatever I got it at. So to have a easygoing woman is a blessing. To have a woman who knows how to follow, how to blend in, that's a blessing. Huh? Yes, indeed. And my sculptor sent me the longest message possible. It's super annoying. I hate long messages. It's because of Trump. He can't mail my stuff from Australia because these tariffs. But also looks like I got an email maybe from a freeloader. I'm gonna actually read this one right now. By the way, I hate freeloaders. There's one freeloader that has sent me an email recently. It was pretty funny. I want to tell you guys about this one. I also wish I had the email up because I would show you just so that you can observe the nature of freeloaders. Male freeloaders are the worst. Females, freeloading is a lifestyle for females. Male freeloaders are disgusting. So this dude emailed me a week ago or so, and he says, hey, I'd like you to invest in these low income or affordable housing. Let me know if I mentioned this before. And I reply, are you a member? And then he says, yeah, I'm a member at Patreon. I said, oh, okay, well, what's your email? And then I check it, and he's not a member at Patreon. He's a free member at Patreon, which means not a member. And then I reply, why'd you say you're a member when you subscribe to the free tier, which is to say that you just freeload? You're not a member, and you're asking me, I read through your email, you're asking me for $50,000. So what is the chance that I would give you $50,000 and you have never given me 50 cents? Like, why would I trust someone like you? And here's a gem for you guys. Don't deal with people who are broke and ugly. Well, here's on the broke side. If I were to give you $50,000 and you don't even have it in you to give me 50 cents, you've never subscribed to anything, you've never bought any of my products, it lets me know you're in poverty. Albeit maybe it's just mental poverty, but I suspect it's financial poverty. So with that being the case, if I gave you $50,000, I can be assured that my money will be misappropriated. It's a guarantee because you don't have basics. Your basics aren't covered. So when you get that 50,000, you're going to spend some of it on yourself as opposed to whatever you're talking about, the Dr. Umar school or whatever, the low affordable income housing. You're going to spend some money on yourself. That's why If you had money and you said, hey, Marquette, I got an opportunity for you. I just need 50,000. Well, my first question would be, well, if it's actually a good opportunity, why do you need me? Why don't you just use your own money and make more money, make some profit? That's my first question. But once we get past that question, now, one, I don't invest in this kind of thing. I don't invest in stuff in general. But once I get past that question, I feel comfortable because I know you're already well off. So if I gave you 50,000, why do you need my 50,000? You don't. So you're going to actually do what you said. So I just want to share that with you guys because I can tell that people are not apparently learning from the ism, because when I say don't deal with people who are broke and ugly, I'm not kidding. I'm not going to deal with anybody who's broke. And when people send questions, if you're watching everyone else send their question using a super chat or a Venmo, and then you ask your question, I know that you're not serious, and you're also probably not a good person, because you could just sit back and watch. But instead, you're like basically disrespecting the people who are paying to get their question answered, and you're trying to get a freebie. Like, they're paying, but you're trying to get it for free. It's just not an honorable thing to do. You see what I'm saying? So it lets me know in advance, I don't want to work with you. I just got an email from someone. So I don't see that they sent in a Venmo or super chat. And if they did, let me know, but I don't think they did. So let's go ahead and read this email together, and let's just look at this. I suspect that it's a scam, but maybe it's not, but I'm guessing it is. I'm guessing the person who wrote this email is also watching right now. So let's take a look. So here's the person's name, Dorian Eugene Talford. It's an interesting name. So with a name like that, you could be in the United States. Looks like his phone number is there. So he's for sure in the United States. Let's have a read of this email. Attention, brother Marquette Devon. Now, in the first sentence, somebody tell me in the chat, what's wrong already? What's wrong? What's gone wrong already? Somebody help me. Give you guys a little bit of time. Thank you. Typo, name misspelled, right? So just ask yourself, if someone is so trashy that they're watching me live, they're watching everybody else send in $15 to ask a question or $1. Well, you guys might not know that most people who come in Venmo, PayPal, things like that, they're mostly saying $1, $1, $2. And I still read it because it's not about the money. It's about people as men showing up, representing themselves, making their name known, and not being a freeloader. I want that to be a culture. I believe in capitalism, and I want a culture of work, hard work, appreciation for the dollar, appreciation for people's time. So anyways, that's correct. He's addressing you as brother. Most people who are showing up with a scam, oh, my brother, my brother. I'm not your brother. So that's a major red flag. I'm not your brother. Number one, I don't feel like your brother. I wouldn't want to be your brother because you're broke. And number three, this is a business communication, apparently, because my guess is you're asking for money. So don't call me brother. Address me as Mr. Burton. Address me as, whatever my title is, or Marquette, whatever. But spell my name correctly, because what is the chance that I want to give you money and you can't even spell my name? I just assume that you're not very intelligent. You're not detail oriented. So if you lack intelligence and detail orientation, how are you going to be successful at anything? Right? And you also are a person who's a freeloader. So how can we make money together when your orientation is on trying to sneak, try to sneak something? You see what I'm saying? So let's carry on. And looking at his email address, it's at Gmail. So already I'm undervaluing what he has to say. So I don't know what this email, or excuse me, what this website is, but if you're not emailing me from the domain that you're referencing, I think you're a fraudster. So he writes, attention, brother Marquette Devon. This is brother Eugene Talford. I don't know what that's all about. AKA Ambassador Obi Ninwe, blah, 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 with the African Diaspora Political and Economic Think Tank Organization. That's a long name. And the New Africa Network TV, blah, 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 blah. Company Ethiopia, blah, 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 blah. First, I appreciate what you're doing to uplift the Black community. Okay. Our annual conference in DC is coming up. I want to extend an invitation to you and members of your platform to attend, as well as be a part of a panel discussion. So the real question is, Are you offering? Is this a request or is this an offer? Again, is this a request or is this an offer? Are you offering me to attend, which really is just a request dressed up, because I'm a highly paid speaker. If you want me to attend, you need to be writing a $13,000 check and then we can figure things out. So I'm not about to show up to deal with strangers for no reason. And I'm definitely not about to show up to deal with strangers for $0 when everybody else pays me 13,000. If the University of Chicago pays me 13,000, if the University of California pays me 13,000, if Johns Hopkins pays me 13,000, if a particular nonprofit that I'm not going to name right now pays me 13,000, if Procter and Gamble pay me 13,000, there's no way in hell I'm showing up to you, nobody, and doing anything for free. It's just not sensible. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, let's go back to it. So, I want to extend an invitation to you and your members to attend as well, to be a part of a panel discussion. What do I need to discuss? A panel discussion on what? I don't like discussing things. A panel discussion, that sounds like a meeting. I hate meetings. Even if I'm running the meeting, I don't want to be there. I never exceed an hour in my businesses if I can. I hate a meeting going over an hour as a rule. So you're inviting me to be a part of a meeting that I don't know what it's about and I don't want to be a part of it. Okay. He writes, the African Diaspora Political and Economic Think Tank Group is a private underground organization outside the United States government. It's a partner of blah, 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 founded by Malcolm X, a private Black nationalist, blah, blah, blah. The actual website is this. Meanwhile, here's some information. Let me know a convenient time to speak. Now, one thing I can guarantee you, no stranger has ever get me on the phone. There are things that I'm interested in that I'm actually willing to pay for, and you're not getting me on the phone. I can't tell you how many people have reached out. Hey, Marquett, I want to be a video editor. Can we hop on a quick call? Hey, I can improve your marketing. Can we hop on a quick call? My response is, no, we cannot. What's the pricing? No, we cannot. What's the next step? I'm not hopping on a phone call with anybody. I don't know you. I already don't like you. I don't have the time. I don't have the interest. There's nothing you can tell me with words that you cannot write with words. I don't currently have questions. Why would I get on a phone call with you? Absolutely not. You're an idiot. And you have a lot of spare time, which lets me know you're not an important person. If you're an important person, you wouldn't want to get on a call as much as I don't want to get on a call. We'd be the same in that regard, but you're a peon and a loser and an idler. That's why you have time to get on phone calls. I don't. I hate phone calls. Another reason is because I know the average IQ, not low IQ, just average IQ is pretty insufficient with regards to advancing in the world. I don't want to talk to average people, and that's most likely what's going to happen. Another reason I want to get on the call. So anyways, now you're trying to sell me on a call. Great. If you have any questions, looking forward to connecting soon. Why? Why would I want to? I don't know you. And why are you putting your name and then you're putting AKA? This is not a rap song. This is not a rap mixtape. Come on. I feel like AKA is like, you know what I'm saying? This is Big Bad Daddy Doom. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? AKA the biggest DJ, also known as. It's like, dude, this is a professional email. You can't even script a professional email. Why would I trust you with my time and with my money? It's ludicrous. You're an idiot. You're a total selfish idiot. I, in fact, don't like you. Your email only served to make me not like you. That's all you achieved is I despise you. That's the only new experience that we've had is that I hate you. Okay. And all I would ask are people like you, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone, dude. Go steal from someone else, animal. Go bother someone else. You don't even take yourself seriously. Imagine, you don't know what I would have given to, if I could spend $15 to get the attention of someone I need to talk to and to give them a pitch. What? Nigga, I spend that $15 every day and keep repitching them. But you're so stupid and selfish and miserly that you wouldn't even put $15 behind yourself. So why would I want to be dealing with you. I don't. You don't know, you wouldn't invest $15 in yourself, nigga. Like, stay away from me. That's the level of idiocy that I can't be around. Broke people energy. Come on, man. Like, you're a nut, homie. You're a disgusting person. You're not a good person. I want you to know you're not a good person. You're a user. And I hate people like you. I hate males like you. I hope my daughter never encounters someone like you, because she's going to die broke. She's going to have to use welfare messing with somebody like you. I hate people like you, dude. You're watching right now and you had the nerve to send this and you thought it was a good idea. You're a user, bro, and you're unsuccessful. It's just side note. You're not a successful person, because if you were successful, you wouldn't be doing stuff like this. You're trash. And the reason I want to show everyone this is because I want everyone watching to know how to filter out stuff like this. Like, for example, another thing I never do is I don't network. I don't want to network, because 9 out of 9, the people are there, the people who have need. They want to meet me. I don't want to meet them. Don't network. Identify people who have a specific skill set and then come and offer value and make an exchange of value. That's not networking. That's building. That's working. Networking is for the broads. Networking is for idlers, people who don't know what they need to do. They don't know who they need to collaborate with. I don't network. I try to make friends and I try to exchange value. If I'm going to an event, I know there's a lot of people there, I need to get the guest list and I need to figure out who's important on it and look at their LinkedIn and look at their background, who's our common connections. And I'm going to try to see if I can send them an email before the event. Hey, bro, I see you're going to show up to the event. I'm going to be there around this time. Let's link up and have a quick conversation about this. For this reason, here's the topic of the conversation. Here's the outcome I'm seeking. Here's how much time I need. That's easy money, man. People are like, damn, bro is a businessman. He gave me a start and an end time. He gave me a topic and an outcome. How could I refuse him? The only reason I would refuse them is if the outcome of the conversation is not what I want. And here's the thing, I want them to refuse me if the outcome is not what they want. If I tell somebody, hey, I got a company called MDB Label. We make great hats. I know that you're a hat manufacturer. So the outcome of the conversation is for me to find out if you can manufacture hats for me for less than $20 per unit. And if the person replies and says, hey, I'm not interested in that conversation, I know they're not a hat manufacturer or my price point is off. So we're not going to waste time talking. Let's not have a call. We don't even know what the call is about. Come on, man. Anyways, carrying on. May I acknowledge Shola writes, great wisdom, King. Thank you, sir. May I acknowledge Canton. Canton came back again, supporting rights, peace and saints. May I acknowledge Gene. Yes, the reason women will only get worse is because society thinks they can get them in line without corporal punishment. It's important. He writes, it's impossible. They also ostracize and harshly condemn any man that does. Yeah, we got to fix that. Shout out to the Taliban. Shout out to the Taliban. Okay, fantastic. Now let's get back to this ism. After we had to have that short commercial break for someone trying to scam me on a live session. Extraordinary. So what a woman will do, a single mother, she'll ask all of the worst people advice. Single women keep women single. Get this ism. You know what? The thing that makes me have no mercy is because like I'll be up for like 40 hours damn near 40 hours straight. I just ate. I'm back cracking now. You dig? I'm back cracking. I haven't even slept. The sun's not even out yet. You heard me? It's 5:48 a.m. I've not slept all night. I'm going in. And that's why I have no mercy, because it's like, how are some people so damn unproductive and some people are so extraordinarily productive? It's like, how have I been up 2 days straight and some of you rascals sleep like 9-10 hours, and after all that damn sleep, you're still not really like awake when you're awake? You feel me? That's why I don't believe in equality, because we're not equal. Like, y'all can't walk through walls like me. You dig? We're not equal. I don't believe in equality. Let's get back to this damn ism. You dig? So many busters on the planet Earth, babe. I'm telling you, I just can't wait till I see one of them and I get to break their jaw in real life. because I don't actually believe that everyone should be alive. I don't believe everyone has the right to live. No, I don't believe in none of that. I don't believe in equality. No, none of that. You dig? Man, what I wouldn't give to catch some internet nerds in real life. But every time people see me in real life, like, oh my God, I love your stuff. I'm like, where are the haters at? Where are the haters? But anyways, let's get to this work, man. Shout out to Jonathan, by the way. Came back via PayPal. He writes, paying for my hotel for the drip trip now. I'm sure it is. Two-factor authentication, links regarding blah, 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 blah. Am I right? I don't know anything about that. That's something that you'd want to hop on a meeting for. I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you. And also do know that you can have a hotel anywhere you want. That's just the one that I recommended that I listed on the link. Very good. Caught up there. Mouse to acknowledge Omari. He writes, her prioritizing her happiness is also the only conclusion I've come up with as well, which is still odd because she's such a caring and giving person. People never cease to flabbergast me. Well, you should change that, because if people are still surprising you at this stage in life, what that's letting us know is that you're not internalizing the lessons. One of the most important things that I've noticed at this stage in life is that I want to be a fast learner, a quick study. So whether it's AI or what's the emerging industry, or it's the trends in fintech or in global finance, I need to be ahead. I need to be taking more risk. Learning slowly, adjusting slowly, that's not the way. There's certain things, hey, maybe it gets past you one time, but you can't get fooled two times, right? You got to move quickly. We're in an unprecedented time. So in as much as that's the case, no, nothing really should be surprising you. That's why, for example, during the big game conference, I gave you guys some things that are nearly rules. Like, hey, if she does this, she's garbage. If she does this, this might be one of them ones. Because I've had enough volume to know how to sort through people quickly and how to assess human personalities, human potential. I'll give you another example. Like, just like when I took you through that email, like, look, first line, misspell my name, call me brother, red flag. Look at this. Look at the domain of his email address. It's not the same domain of the website he claims to be associated with. Red flag. Get him out of here. He's an idiot or he's incompetent. Now, with regards to females, for example, they slide my DMs at like an insane volume. As I was eating, I was looking through some of my DMs, right, on IG. Some photo of a gorgeous woman slid my DMs, and I immediately say, fake profile, question mark. Individual responds, no, I just don't accept follow requests. For sure. Great. 10-second video call, question mark. And she says, well, if you say anything other than yes, you're blocked. Why? Because if you're interested enough that you slid my DMs, you have 10 seconds. No one's so busy that they don't have 10 seconds. So if you're not going to invest 10 seconds, either you're impersonating somebody else, you're a bot, you're a troll, you're a weirdo, or you're a problematic person. You think slowly, you're a process-oriented person. You're just not with it enough to get things done and to get things moving forward. You're not equipped to deal with bosses, because I said 10 seconds. That's really all I'm going to give you. That's all I got, 10 seconds. If you don't have 10 seconds, you're busier than me, which is impossible. So that's a lie. The lie detector test just determined you are. Yeah. So if you don't have 10 seconds, you don't have a life. And if you're not going to use the 10 seconds for a good opportunity, you're an idiot. So I don't want to talk to you anyways. So I created a methodology to accelerate things and to sort and filter. If you cannot learn quickly and adapt quickly, you're not built for the future. You're not built for success. There you go. There you go. May I acknowledge Andy, the RBG, I think. Who knows? But I appreciate you. Shout out to Andy. Anyways, I think we're caught up there. Shout out to Jefferson. He writes, more tuition. There's a lot of value to extract when listening to you chastise fools. So thank you for doing. Oh, absolutely. There's value for the fool that's being chastised, and there's value for those who one day will be in my position or a greater position. And you're figuring out how to sort, because I tell you, there's a lot of humankind who are really human trash. And your key to success, a part of it is people, right? We have people, places, positions, and capital, like money, right? A lot of the times you're not going to start with money. You're going to start with other resources. People are a great resource. Being around smart people, just listening to them talk is like reading books. But being around idiots is something that is detrimental to you. It can land you in jail. It can land you in the poorhouse, various things. So, yes, let's get it. Now, back to this. The single mother, the black single mother, or the would-be black single mother, the black female in training to become a single mother, she's going to take advice from everyone except the most qualified person to give the advice. That's why the Three Sins Bible is so important. Be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people. I also want you guys to take note of how I'm conducting this, right? Damn near 2 days awake, straight. You heard me? I still have high energy. I'm still delivering. I'm not pouty. I'm not angry. None of that. We're going in. There's different ways you can do things. Remember that. Keep it player. Like, do it or don't do it. Anyways, now back to the single mother thing. You see how sharp I still am? It's amazing. So you have the single mother, or the would-be single mother, who takes advice from everyone except the right person. She takes advice from her mother, who is a single mother. She takes advice from her grandmother, who created a single mother. She takes advice from her friend who is single, or her girlfriend who's cheating on her man. She does not take advice from the man she's dealing with. The question is, why are you trying to guess? Like, why are you trying to think through, what should I do to please this man? What should I do to keep this man? Just ask the man. And when he tells you, follow the directions. But there's something deeply psychological that prevents that. And that's what you need to be scared of. Now, here's the funny thing. If there was an honorable man in her life, he'd pretty much be echoing everything that you say. Every direction that you give her, he'd be echoing. But that's not the person that she went to. Now, is it? No. So if she were to go to her father, who's not there, he would tell her, do what your man tells you to do. That's what God would have you do, which is to say, don't try to read the Bible and tell your man what God would have you do or have him do. Treat your man as God and follow him, because that is what God commanded you to do. He commanded Eve to be obedient to Adam. So that is your goal. Be obedient to Adam. And whether you're a Jew, a Muslim, or a Christian, all of your books say the same thing, that the woman is submitted to the man. And that's how you can tell that she is not the right one. When she refuses that advice, or refuses to go get that advice, or more intelligently refuses to just yield to you, they make it complex. Baby, you only went to go get advice because you didn't want to follow what I told you, because you didn't need any advice. I told you what it is. You hear me? I'm a great leader and a great thinker. I told you what it is. All you got to do is follow. You got the easy job. Why make it complex? Now, here's the trippy thing with these chicks. On their road to becoming a single mother, which apparently is the goal of a good number of Black women. Was it about 70% of them? So it's responsibility shifting, which is to say they take all the responsibility and put it on somebody else, the guy, which is to say that in their mind, it's as though they're not even adults. Yes, they behave as children in terms of creating havoc and being a nuisance. And then when it's time to be responsible or accountable, then they continue being children, and they pout and throw tantrums when they have to deal with the result of their decisions. I'll give you an example. This goes across the board with all women, but Black women are particularly comical with this one. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. Now, this is funny because this is not the Black woman's thinking or words. This comes from the liberal white woman. That's why you'll see in this graphic that I created, you see a liberal white woman, as indicated by the blue hair, inside the brain of the Black woman, infecting the brain, huh? So the liberal white woman is the feminist. Then the Black woman wants to pretend as though she thought of something, which she never has thought of her own idea. So she calls herself an intersectional feminist. But they both can be described by a single term, idiot. And the fact of the matter is, they don't seek truth. There is no justice with the woman. My body, my choice. Well, is that fair? Are you allowed to make choices on behalf of both of us? No, sirree, Bob. That doesn't make any sense. And if someone was to make choices on behalf of both of us, would it be you or would it be me? It'd probably be me because I'm the leader. So if she's telling you that you're the leader, but it's my body, my choice, then you're not the leader to her. Huh? You see how that works out? Simple. But here's the kicker with the responsibility shifting. My body, my choice, but your wallet. Marquett, what do you mean? Yeah, my body, my choice, meaning I get to decide if the child comes into existence or doesn't come into existence. My decision. Even if you told me not to do it, my decision to bring the kid into existence, but also it's my decision, but I still get to take your money. Because here's the thing. If the woman wholly by herself has decided to bring the kid into existence and the man didn't want that, the woman should be wholly responsible for financing the kid and clothing the kid and giving the kid love and attention because she did that by herself. You might say, Marquette, it takes two to have intercourse. It does, but it took one to decide to bring the kid to term. So she has my body, my choice, but it's your wallet. Now, frankly, if I had a daughter, she would never be in this situation. But if she ever were, I would tell my daughter, listen, love, deal with your choice. It was your body, your choice. Now you will live out that choice for the rest of your days. You chose to be in this situation. Do not try to force that man into a position, into a role that he told you he didn't want. Do not try to force him into a position and in a role he told you he didn't want. That wouldn't be fair. Come on now. And here's the other thing, love. You try to force him into that position, 9 out of 9, you're going to both be stressed out because you're going to be in conflict mode constantly. And as a father, I don't want you to be victim of domestic violence. And I know that you trying to control a man, that's not going to go well. It doesn't go well when the antelope tries to run after the lion. It's backward. Something's going to go wrong, little antelope. So that's what they do. They try to dominate you using the instrumentality of the government. Yes. And they think you're just going to sit there and take it. I wouldn't let my daughter do it. I'd be scared for her life. I really would. I really would. Because I know she messed around with the wrong dude and he told her, hey, I made my decision. You went against it. Leave me alone. If you don't leave me alone, it's going to be tragic. It's going to be tragic because what they do is they'll take the guy's driver's license. Now he can't even earn money. He's stranded. And most importantly, you took his driver's license. He's still going to drive because he has to drive. In most places in America, outside of, say, New York, you have to drive. So now you set him up to catch cases. And if he didn't already end up catching cases, especially as a black male, and this is how I'm saying the black woman destroys the black male. So she put him on child support. He doesn't pay because he never agreed to it. Then she has his driver's license taken. Now he's set up to catch cases and get pulled over by the cops and get arrested. Now she started him up a criminal record. Now he has a criminal record. He can't get a job anymore. Now he can't get a job. He can't pay the child support. Now he goes deeper into arrears. They take his ability to get a passport. And then they also put him in jail. Which this kind of stress, a guy might take his own life. He might go to jail, become institutionalized, never get out. Now, let's use some logic. What was the intelligence of you trying to get child support, but now your guy's in prison because of you? Now he's in prison. Does your child have a father now? No. Now he's in prison. Are you getting money from him now? No. So what did you do? You achieved nothing. The only thing you achieved was being a devil on earth and spreading havoc. All you achieved was spreading evil. That's really crazy. You destroyed a black man with the white supremacy as your instrument. You are an instrument. Matter of fact, you're the instrument of white supremacy. White supremacy is not your instrument. You're the instrument of white supremacy. And when I say white supremacy, I'm talking about a system that was framed by the same people who enacted slavery. Because when enslavement ended, did the government change? Did the flag change from the stars and bars, or is it the same thing? I mean, let's consider when the Nazis were taken out of power in Germany, the flag changed, removed the swastika, removed all the Nazi leaders, and put in a different batch of people. That didn't happen in America. They kept the continuity, going. There we go. You didn't read my last super chat. You talking about this one? Huh. My apologies. I thought I read it. The reason women will only get worse. No, I did read this one. So is it one before that I didn't read? Maybe it's this one. What are your thoughts on Rwanda having so many women in government? No, I read that one. I read both of those. I think you may have missed it. I definitely read it. So you may have missed that one, Gene. If those are the two you're talking about, I definitely read those. Anyways. So here's another thing. Ironically, the data from studies, there's one particular study I reference here, which is in the journal of, it's published in the Journal of Marriage and Family. It points out that child support actually is not adding value to the child, which is no surprise, because child support really, in actual fact, it's for the United States government. They take their skim off. And it's also for the woman. It enhances her lifestyle. It's not for the kid. Let's be real. Because a woman who actually cannot afford the kid is not going to have the kid, because you're an unruly woman. So in the back of your head, anyways, you were not planning on being with that man because you're disobedient. So you knew that there had to be some possible way that you could raise the kid on your own. So you didn't need his finances anyway. So now you're using it to enhance your lifestyle. Now, me personally, that's stealing. And I would probably take someone's life for stealing from me. But anyways, so the data actually indicates that over the long term, the kid actually does not end up being a superior person. There's no value out of the child support. The kid doesn't have better financial prospects. They're not getting more education. They're not a more impressive kid. So the theoretical, or the theory that child support is improving the kid's life and outcomes has been proven to be false. And the money's for the mom. So now we have that, and you guys can feel free to look that up. But the real question is, well, if we know the data and it's published, so that the science, the social science has confirmed this, why still is the revenue extraction occurring? Well, because the government benefits from it. It's like collecting an additional tax, and the female benefits it. Who doesn't want free money, right? But the kid doesn't benefit. And that's what it's really supposed to be about. And that, ladies and saints, is why revolution must occur. But here's the kicker, Black women. I want to tell you, if you think you're the woman king, right? You want to run your own affairs. You want to run over a man. You're the woman king. Be the woman king. If you're an independent woman, I'm an independent. All my single ladies, you're an independent woman. Be an independent woman. Don't try to stick your hand in his wallet. Don't put the government on him. Be an independent woman. That's what you want to be. Do that. It's a safer way to go. And I truly believe that we do need to see more men completely wild out when these woman kings try to put them on anything government related, alimony for the divorce, child support, whatever it is. We need to see more guys wilding out. And when enough guys wild out and we, you hear me, and they do what God would have them do, the society will self-correct. At some point, either women are going to say, hey, I'm not going to put them on child support, it's too risky. Or the government will say, we need a new policy because this one is clearly leading to certain outcomes. The funny thing is that the decline in birth rate, it just apparently that's not enough an issue. But what Black women do and we have all kinds of excuses, and that's all good, but they don't want a real husband, because a real husband comes with leadership. He comes with standards, expectations, guidance. They rather just have the government be their husband, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam doesn't come with any moral guidance. You can twerk, you can wear purple wigs, you can listen to Sexy Red, you can buy Kool-Aid, you can feed your kid fruit snacks and Gushers. The Uncle Sam will never stop you from being a degenerate. And Uncle Sam will keep paying you. He'll pay your food bill, he'll pay your Section 8 housing, and he'll send you some money that he extorted from your baby daddy. So they marry Uncle Sam because they can do that and have a fake husband to whom they don't have to be accountable or respectful. That's what they do. They marry in the government. And then while dealing with the stress of being a single mom, they complain as though they're not the ones who set up that dynamic. Yes? They're the ones who set up the dynamic, and then they complain about the dynamic. Extraordinary. And I think this is the greatest illustration of what's actually happening. You got the Black woman with her baby, rather than submitting to that man and completing a family, she'd rather sick child support on him, sick the police on him, and land him back in slavery. That's what she would rather do, because for the Black woman in her wickedness, if he's not going to be a slave to her, she'll make him a slave to the government. But he's going to be a slave. The Black female is essentially the overseer, and she's going to make sure that nigga works, forcefully. Now, as I said before, most men have some common sense, even though we're not like women and we're not going to just break a marriage or break a family so that we can pursue our own happiness. What we won't do is be under an unruly masculine wildebeest for the rest of our lives. So we're like, okay, you know what? You can't follow directions. You chose this. I'm done. And guess what? There's no coming back. There's no appealing. So then we leave. Then eventually they become malicious and hateful. Is that because we did something mean to them? No, that's because we refuse to be a part of their madness. Misery loves company. And so what happens is when they realize that we're on to bigger and better things and they're kind of stuck in the mud that they've always been in, they become scornful and they decide to attack you in various ways. And you not wanting to be with them, all they can do is strike at you, because remember, when it goes back to the parenting, I said if their parents never corrected them, if their parents never gave them discipline, you explaining why you don't want to be with them is a criticism. It speaks to a deficiency, a lack. And they don't take that as feedback. Rather, they take that as an attack on their sense of self and on their self-esteem. And so they must attack back. Even though they were not actually attacked, they're attacking back. We can just call these broads Israel. And in doing so, they try to destroy you simply because you don't want to be with them. Come on now. Yeah. Come on now. Just not wanting to be with them is unacceptable. That's how much control they believe that they have over you. They get to decide if you are with them, but also they get to decide if they're with you. You don't get to decide if you're in or out of the relationship. Only they do. That's crazy how much of a matriarchy we live in. Does that not break your mind? The woman can decide if she's in or out of the relationship, free will, truly. And if she decides she's out of the relationship, she gets a complete clean break. The man cannot decide if he's in or out of the relationship because the government can basically force him into the relationship. If you're paying abroad, you're in a relationship. It's just that it's one where there's no benefit. You get no vagina, no companionship, no service, but you're paying. Well, what are you paying for? That's the part. It's called extortion, my boy. You're not paying for a damn thing. You're getting extorted. Come on now. Yeah. Getting extorted, little buddy. Shout out to John. He writes, had to support again. Game reminding us we have to be ruthless is pristine. Oh yeah, we got to be. Absolutely. Ladies and saints, we have made it to the conclusion of this. It's been a pleasure. I thank you all for having been with me. And for those of you who go hard, I want you to know this. You see, I could be like, oh man, it's been 2 days. I haven't slept. Listen, do it or don't do it. If you're going to do something, do it with honor, do it with happiness, do it with intensity, do it with joy. Don't do it with low energy. Don't do it with excuses. Be manly. Do it the right way. Be saintly. Go for it like a fearless lunatic. Ladies and saints, it's been a pleasure at this time to fellowship with you all. Until next time, peace of the saints.